Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, remember we got you covered. We'll post all 3 hours upon the conclusion of the program. Limited commercial interruption when you go back to catch up right there on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. Use the WTSM app for your mobile devices. And you can watch the show performed on YouTube. Go to ESPN Tallahassee and you'll find us. And I'll even wave. Tom just waved. Did you wave? There, you waved.
I don't know if we're on the two-camera shot, but if we are now, there you go.
There's waving. Everybody's waving. Director Matthew probably timed that absolutely perfect. I know and have faith in him. It's going to be all right. So, by the way, I'm gonna tell you that I'm excited. Today is a day that we can all celebrate and embrace our love of the ACC. That's how we're starting today, Tom Lang.
Do I sense sarcasm?
No. I'm being sarcastic only in that you aren't buying it. You won't buy it, what I'm about to bring up. But we did have breaking news today out of the a couple hours ago. John Swofford, outstanding Commissioner John Swofford of the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
Who has really found this captaining of the ship and guided us through the choppy waters, transition into just a nice, clear, calm afternoon as we sit outside and enjoy our newfound wealth and fortune and certainly prominence in the game of college football. That's what John Swofford's done, Tom.
Yeah, for the folks who wear the turtlenecks and like to catch a game in Winston-Salem on a Saturday afternoon, sipping on some Chardonnay.
Little Snuggy Hill.
Yeah, Snuggy Hill action. Yeah, he's their hero. Yeah, that's right.
He's the hero of the Jeff Cameron Show. I've got my ACC signed John Swofford thank you note. That sounded like the Lewin report. Thank you. 2 weeks after the social media outpouring of concern occurred, in which everybody said, man, if you haven't checked, ESPN is firing everybody. They just fired my neighbor. They're firing people left and right. How in the hell is there going to be an ACC network? ESPN may not exist in 2019. How can there be an ACC channel? They're firing people. I mean, damn it. We're not even sure that Danny Cannell can have a job, and yet we're going to have an ACC network. Well, Swofford said, look, man, we are. He said he spoke to Mr. Skipper.
Is that a direct quote?
Look, man. Yes, he was smoking a blunt as he said it. Look, man, it's all right. We're going to have a network. Anything else? No, that's not what he said. He did comment that the plans to move forward with the ACC network have not been altered and that it's a full go. And in all seriousness, it's a big deal to Florida State. It's a big deal to member institutions, obviously, of the ACC because you're trying to close the revenue gap with the other Power 5 conferences. And the Pac-12 received $28 million in the fiscal year 2016. If you look at the most recent numbers available, Florida State got about $24 million from the ACC. So you're trailing Pac-12 schools by $4 million there. Big Ten schools got well over $30 million the last we saw. So now we're starting to get into significant amounts of money, like maybe $10 million more money than Florida State got. And some SEC schools got in excess of over $40 million. That's a huge gap. I mean, now you're at 16 to 20 million off annually. That adds up in a hurry. And if that were to continue as is, Florida State would not be in an advantageous position to compete against schools that are right there in their footprint. This is who we recruit against. We often play. In fact, see this year's opening game against Alabama. You have to be able to compete with the Floridas of the world in your own state. And if the difference in what they bring in annually is marginal, then I think you can certainly do that, and you can go above and beyond doing that. You can own them, as we currently do. But if it's routinely $14 to $20 million different, you're not going to own them for long. You're going to be the one getting owned, and you're the one who will not be competing with the elite Power 5 schools. And that is, quite obviously, a stated goal and mission of Florida State, to be one of the best football programs in America. That's why they have to find a way year in and year out to keep up with the Joneses. That's why we continue to have these discussions about where does it all end? How do you continue to pour in hundreds of millions of dollars for new facilities on top of having built new facilities just a couple of years ago? But they will, and that's always my argument, that they will. They're committed to that. They have been for a very long time. They're not going to suddenly stop doing it. But at some point, it's fair to say that that money trough dries up, and you're not able to do what you want to do. They've been able to find a way to do it up to this point. So they're going to need more money. Long story short, all the ACC schools are going to need more money if they're going to be a dominant program and or have dominant programs and be one of the better Power 5 conferences, which they currently are. So it's great news to hear that the planned offering of an ACC channel by ESPN is still in place, and that the numbers are going to greatly affect Florida State and everybody else's ability to compete in this conference. And so I don't know if you buy it, but this is strong language coming out of Amelia Island today from Swafford, who said that the vast majority of that disparity that I just referenced in the money for those other conferences came from cable television channels, in particular the Big Ten and the SEC. And he was asked whether or not he thought this would bring the revenue up to speed, basically. And his quote reads, "I'm very confident. That's why we're doing the channel." And he said that the ACC fully expects that gap in revenue will continue for the next couple of years, but that's where it ends once in 2019 the ACC Network is launched with a linear channel. And today he said that is most certainly going to happen. That's the reason we've signed on to do what we're doing, quote unquote, and we're fully expecting that gap to close. He goes on to say that he was told directly by Skipper, John Skipper, the president of ESPN, that the channel is in full development and full speed ahead.
Swafford has to project confidence in this moment, and it's smart of him to make sure that he mentions John Skipper's name as much as possible when citing the progress, when people are looking for
it's not his opinion.
Concrete details of progress. He can cite John Skipper told me. Well, okay, that is a big card to play in this circumstance.
To be able to say, I talked to the president of the network just yesterday, and he assured me that we're moving forward with the plans as constituted over a year ago. Well, yeah, that...
We've talked about this channel, or the idea of this channel, ever since the grant of rights, it seems, because that was the whole thing.
We thought it was imperative.
Yeah, it was all one deal. It was grant of rights, Notre Dame's edition. We thought full-time for a little while, and it's just, 5 games a year and all sports but football. But then it's, yes.
Let's do this real quick. Stay right where you are, because we're going to continue this. All right. For those that don't know, ACC, the member institutions waived their grant of rights as a show of unity in order to get ESPN to move forward with an ACC network. ESPN would not have done so, would not have committed to this project and the dollars that go with it if they thought there was any chance in hell that Florida State and or Clemson, for that matter, I suppose Miami, was going to leave the conference, right? Those are the cash cows when it comes to football, and football is king. So they would not have moved forward with this if that show of unity, the waiving of the grant of rights, right, wasn't in play. So we all raised Cain when that happened. We all said, whoa, don't do that. Don't do that. You box yourself into having to stay in the ACC, which hasn't always had Florida State's best interest in mind. And given that we are the flag bearer, we can tell the ACC, you'll do this or we're leaving. But not if you waive your grant of rights.
Exactly, and that was running concurrently to when Florida was waiving its grant of rights in the near future at the time. But
for
they
the
were
SEC.
They were for the SEC Network.
Right.
So they were leaving this Sun Sports,
where they were making a pretty penny.
Yes, they were getting $10 million a year as an athletic department, I believe, from their third-tier rights being granted to Sun Sports. That's a big contract that was coming up, perhaps an opportunity for Florida State. But again, the times being what they were, and looking back on it, it's kind of funny, tumultuous as it was.
Well, everybody was running for the hills.
Everybody was running for a different conference. The Big 12 is completely done. We're leaving for the Big 12. The SEC
Big 12
wants
may
to
still
add
very
Florida
well
State.
be done soon, but nonetheless.
Sure, but I mean, it was everywhere. It was coming from every direction. All the conferences were trying to poach the big stars from the other conference so that they could solidify their entity.
Well, that's when we were rumored to maybe be going to the Big 12 or the Big 10. Remember that? That's when Maryland did go to the Big 10.
Sure, or the SEC. There was talk that maybe they could get past Florida. Maybe Florida could be convinced if they stick us in the other half of the conference or something along those lines. But I think what's unique about the situation, because ever since that point we've been talking about the network, and our opinions kind of have been the same since. But it's like we're trying to renegotiate without the leverage to renegotiate, because this is an existing deal with ESPN. We want more money, but ESPN's not willing to rewrite the deal. What they're telling us is that they're going to live up to the deal that they originally signed, but we don't know the details of it. I mean, it's just odd to me that in the other conferences, you kind of have a set amount, and you know how much each university is going to stand to make off of their television deals.
Yeah, but they didn't know that before the stations were up and operating.
No, after the Big Ten they did, though. They could project that the SEC network was going to make this much money because the Fox-run Big Ten network has made $30 million per institution
they had
3-4 years ago.
But they couldn't tell each member institution, I guarantee you this amount of money. We think we're going to make this much. Remember, not long after that network launched, you had the scuttlebutt coming out of the SEC that many of their institutions were a little bit pissed off about the way things were going. Remember that?
Sure.
That first year, the revenues weren't where they thought they should be?
Because no cable or satellite provider wanted to pick up the SEC network and be strong-armed by ESPN into having to pick up the SEC network.
That's correct.
That's why this discussion is unique to me, though, because to me, there's no way they're creating a new television channel for these providers to pay $2 or $3 a month extra for.
They're repurposing an existing channel that they're not using.
If there actually is going to be a linear ACC channel, that's the only way this makes sense.
Well, and I will also say, though, that, again, it's awfully bold of a guy like Swofford and some of the other higher-ups in the conference, including athletic directors at Florida State and Clemson, to come out today and tell the assembled press that it's full steam ahead. Our partner's doing a great job. It's going to take a few years. It's a process, but it's definitely going as planned. We've hit all the markers. That was one quote today. This has gone exactly as ESPN said it would. They've hit all the markers. The ACC schools have done their part in laying cable and all that stuff that it has to prepare for the different universities to kind of produce their own shows, student-run shows. That's happening. I know Florida State's putting in millions of dollars.
Yeah, there's 2 control rooms at Florida State's facilities, one for ESPN, one for the students themselves.
By the way, ESPN executives, for folks wondering about, the legitimacy of some of these boastful claims that we're quoting the commissioner and others on, ESPN executives were at the ACC meetings at Amelia Island. They flew in. I mean, you have the president of ESPN there. If that's not a sign of support and obvious, I guess you would say
backing.
Well, yeah. I mean, to me,
legitimacy.
Partnership, legitimacy, all that. It's there.
The reason this is an odd situation to me, it almost feels like there is a second contract taking place in 2019. Like there's obviously there's a channel that ESPN is apparently going to install, and it's going to be linear. But it feels like a new deal is being struck.
Well, because here's why.
Okay.
Both sides admit that this is an ever-changing landscape by the week. So to project in 2019 that it's going to be specifically one way, they can't do that. In fact, I think the quote, I'll find it here, is, with the technology changes, there will be some distribution beyond a normal linear channel. That's different than today. But that makes sense because they don't know where this is all going,
well,
right?
we had assumed 6 months ago that if an ACC network was to exist, and remember they pumped it, like crazy when we were there in July in Charlotte last year. We thought that meant it's going to be an app. The channel is going to be an app. It's going to be on the ESPN app, and it's going to be a function of the ESPN app. And it might have some original programming, but it's going to be hard for them to land on a linear channel in this day and age when no cable satellite provider wants to pay more money.
Right.
So, again, it comes back to the idea that they're going to repurpose a current channel because they have 70 and they're not even using half of what ESPN has anymore. ESPN News is gone. ESPN Classic, we brought that up the other day, is on standard def only.
Yeah.
ESPN 2 in January of next year is just going to be a replay channel, I guess, for the West Coast. I don't know. but they're clearly consolidating a lot of resources, and they're not looking for all that much original programming on their original channels. So they're going to need some other live sports. Okay, so this is where the ACC comes in. It reminds me in this way about the way Notre Dame was in 2012. Remember when they got Kelly and then they went undefeated, they played a national title game, we thought, man, their contract's coming up with NBC right now. Like, how lucky are they? They're going to be insulated from having to join the ACC as a full-time member because they got lucky. They ran into 12 wins. They should have lost 3 or 4 games that year. They play the national title game, and they have all this momentum, so NBC says, we want you.
Right.
The same way we always have, we want you. Maybe it's that if you're ESPN and you're starving for live programming, that you want to kick in this clause for a channel because the ACC is just better than it was 5 or 6 years ago as a product. The football's better. The basketball's always been good. The baseball's good. If I'm going to put on the John Swofford hat for a moment, maybe the ACC product is peaking at the right time as ESPN is making a key decision on whether or not to move forward with the channel.
So think about the ESPN's situation there, as they do have to brand themselves in some element of sport, even though they're efforting to prop up the letter E in ESPN more than anything else right now. They are still, at their core, closely associated with actual sports, so you have to have some. Well, they've already chosen, and they've illustrated this via the layoffs, what they're investing in and what they're not investing in. They're not investing in baseball, despite having just invested $700+ million annually in baseball. Oops. Probably should have known you weren't going to invest in baseball at the time that you invested in baseball just a year and a half ago or whatever it was. All right, but they are all in on the NBA. They overpaid for it, but they're all in on the NBA. Clearly, they've been all in on the NFL, and they were willing to take a loss to do so. But they said, we're done with hockey. We literally will have nothing to do with hockey moving forward. Basically, that's done. And it doesn't appear that there's really any other sport besides college football, that in college basketball, that they want to brand themselves with and be a part of and associated with and be thought of as synonymous. And that's where the ACC picked a fine time to win a couple of national championships.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
You're looking around going, who beats the SEC? Only the ACC.
And we can't let Fox have them by backing out of a contract or NBC Sports to pick up the ACC. Because that to me, these are the only two options. The ACC is saying, remember the rumors were last year that in July, Tim Brando said this and he leaked it out there, that the ACC has to pay the member institutions $2 to $3 million per school anyway if there is no network.
Well, yeah, and I think it was more than that, but yeah.
So what they're saying is that rather than just pay the universities this much money, the channel is worth it to go ahead with, to go ahead and make. We might as well do it. We might as well capitalize off it. Because if ESPN is cutting costs at every turn, it would make sense to do one of two things. Either go full bore ahead with the ACC plan or to just cancel the contract and allow the ACC to negotiate with CBS
they don't want to do that.
NBC or Fox. They want to push ahead full steam.
Well, good for us. I don't really care how it happens.
Same.
I mean, who gives a damn?
After 20 minutes of discussing, sure, I totally agree.
No, but I'm saying I don't care how it happens, and neither should you or anybody else. Who cares? It seems illogical. It's hard to connect the dots. We can say it doesn't make much sense for ESPN, a network that is, at this point, just hemorrhaging money, to go forward with this ACC network, which I doubt it's going to do real well. Nonetheless, they clearly seem hell-bent on doing so. So good. Go ahead. Thanks. We'll take the money. That's all I care about. That's all any of us care about. Do we have the requisite funds to compete at the highest level in the most important sport that we all love the most? There it is. And if this network allows for that to happen and they want to have it, my man John Swofford, steady kicking ass. Good on you, John.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
p.m. to 2 p.m. It will be held at Cornerstone Presbyterian Church, located at 3784 Sally Lane, Tallahassee, Florida. There will be kayak and fishing boat displays, a baits and rig presentation, fly tying and casting demonstrations, and presentations on dock safety. The Wilderness Way and Real Fin Attic Kayak Fishing will have a booth there. Any angler, either freshwater, saltwater, or fly, will find this expo a wealth of information. Come join Wilderness Way for this exciting day.
Get to JCPenney and celebrate savings at our Memorial Day sale. Save up to 35% with major appliance hot deals on your favorite brands like GE, Samsung, and LG. Plus, 30-month special financing on purchases of $7.99 or more with your JCPenney credit card. Plus, free delivery and basic installation on all appliance purchases over $2.99. Save on major appliances now at JCPenney. That's getting your pennies worth. GEG, Profile GE Cafe and higher, limited to 10% off savings. Available in select stores. Some exclusions apply. Financing terms valid 5/17 to 6/7. Subject to credit approval. Must request at time of purchase. Minimum monthly payments required. See store or jcp.com/appliances for details.
You see a beautiful yard. Weeds see a playground. The Home Depot can help. Right now, buy Roundup Weed and Grass Killer with Comfort Wand and get a free refill. Roundup kills the toughest weeds and unwanted grass right at the root. You worked hard for that beautiful yard. Keeping it weed-free should be easy. Get a fresh take on spring and a free refill with the purchase of Roundup Weed and Grass Killer, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only, limit 2 per customer, valid through May 31st.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066.
TNT Supercenter has a brand new star to show off. They are now the area's new Star EV golf cart dealer. In celebration of this, they are offering 2017 Star EV golf carts loaded with class-leading features for only $4,999. Here are just a few of the standard features on the brand new Star: automotive styling, flush mount headlights and taillights, golf bag holder with sweater basket, and a 4-year warranty. Other options available as well. TNT and Star Car EV are on a mission to put a golf cart in every driveway. 14585 Highway 19, South Thomasville, Georgia. 229-228-5297 or online at tntsupercenter.com.
We lead busy lives. That's why Superlube offers quick and convenient service with no appointment necessary at any of our 19 area locations. And remember, Superlube offers a free top-off service between oil changes, checking and topping off fluids, and tire pressure. But did you know that right now when you buy one wiper blade, you get one free, just in time for Tallahassee's rainy season? Superlube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles.
How I love to Superlube my car, yes sir!
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm a go for ice and snow.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hope you're doing well. At Jay Cameron Show, it's ironic that Ainge and Young are both from BYU and both are suffering from a hair loss identity crisis. Hashtag embrace it. Hashtag a-hole. Well, maybe it's a Mormon thing.
Hashtag a-hole.
Don't know. Yeah, Steve Young was balding significantly before suddenly producing huge amounts of hair in the area that was once abandoned.
Completely different color than his other hair, too, which was already colored in the first place.
Which is ridiculous. That's where it starts, my friend. People begin with the hair coloring to avoid the appearance of going bald, and then later they have to all out just go ahead and get the weave.
Or the gray. I got some gray coming in. Looks good.
Yeah, what are
I
you going to do?
embrace it.
What are you going to do? As soon as I realized that I was in steep decline up top with the hair, I said, oh, that's the end of it. Boldly went in for the move and shaved that head.
This ACC Network, that's the reason for most of the gray. It's this ACC Network. I just needed to happen.
Mike writes, at Jay Cameron Show, @_Tom Lang. Rewatched the 2013 BCS title game. I've never been more frustrated during a half of a game. What if they didn't win? Oh, but they did, Mike. They did win. And then I would argue, winning the way that they did, because it was so aggravating in the first half, only added to your euphoria afterwards.
Hello, my friend, hello.
You know, I got to be honest, we're approaching that time where you can't fall back on the 2013 national championship.
Even though it's an all-time team.
Oh, it is. And I'll always embrace that team and occasionally find myself, I don't know, waxing poetic and being nostalgic about said team. But you can't fall back for reasons of satisfaction in the midst of something disappointing. So when you lose a game, you ought not lose. Fresh off a national championship victory, you say, well, we did win the national championship last year. When the Bucs, as I've said before, won the Super Bowl in 2002, it really didn't matter what happened in 2004 or 2007.
Yeah, it had a long shelf life, that Super Bowl.
It got all the way into the 2010s and 11s. I mean, it really did.
Yeah, once we hit the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, I think at 2012, I said, all right, it's been a decade. We're done here.
I couldn't drive when we won. I wasn't allowed to drive yet.
That's weird again. You couldn't drive when we won the Super Bowl?
No, that's accurate, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd been out of college forever.
Yeah.
What in the world?
It's a bit of a technicality. I didn't get my license till my senior year, but still. Yeah.
You know, I never understand that. I meet people sometimes who say that they didn't get their license when they turned 16. That's just absolutely foreign to me. I can't fathom it.
If I gave you the reason I did it, you'd punch me in the face and you'd be right, too.
Then don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. You're going to reveal that you were spoiled rotten in a way that I already know.
Yeah.
So we don't need to.
You already know?
We don't need to.
Oh, man.
I know where you grew up.
That's brutal.
Anyhow, Mike, we did win the game. And that frustration gave way to joy, sir. Corey writes, at Jay, gosh, you guys are active today. All right. At Jay Cameron Show, you've talked about how baseball has a problem, quote unquote, with strikeouts and homers. Well, I don't know about homers, but strikeouts, yes. Pirates announcers suggesting expansion as a solution. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Also seems a good way to expand a regional sport by going to more regions, writes Corey. I had not heard that posited as a way to help reduce strikeouts. I would have loved to have heard that. I like the Pirates announcers. I typically listen to them. I've not heard this.
More pitchers means worse pitchers? I don't know. But then you're thinning the talent pool in the 1 through 9.
Yeah, but it's just aiding bad baseball in a different way.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
No, I don't want to see as a solution to strikeouts 15-14. I mean, we already have a dearth in pitching to some extent. Now, what we need to fix, I think, is A, approach, and B, how often you can go to the bullpen. I mean, the specialty guys that come in and throw to a lefty, and then they take out the pitcher to come in and bring in their righty to throw to the righty, and then the next inning bring in a new guy to be their long relief. No, we need to figure something out with that, to me.
How about a mandatory pitch count minimum? All starters must throw 92 pitches at minimum.
Well, we would get back to the art of pitching as opposed to just sheer strength and speed of pitching. Like part part of Noah Syndergaard's problem is this idea that, I'm going to put on 17 pounds of muscle. I already throw 100 miles per hour, 102. I want to be able to more consistently throw in that range on every pitch. So I'm going to get bigger when I'm already huge and throwing faster more consistently than anybody else in the league. Like, that's a mentality that's pervasive and dumb. It's the art of pitching. Once you have the stuff, you got to know when to use it, how to use it, when to dial it up, when to dial it back, when to conserve energy, and when to say 2-2, tie ball game, go ahead, run on third, 8th inning, here's 103.
Mr. Prime Minister, we already have nuclear weapons. Well, I want a double nuclear weapon, thank you very much. Sir.
That sounds like something you should have addressed with our current president.
I stayed away from it.
Jeff, why is there at Jay Cameron Show? Jeff, why is there no just pure college football channel? Well, all the conferences would have to agree on how
an
that
NCAA
would be.
NCAA channel or something like that?
Along those lines, yeah.
Or the third party would just
I was
have to.
going to say, how, yeah.
Well, it's called ESPN because they bought the rights to it. I guess you could do it without all the logos and all the highlights, but is that really the dynamic broadcast you'd want to see?
Well, and also, I think there'd be way too many agreements you'd have to strike between conferences and.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You couldn't use photos or video clips, right? So you'd just be talking about these teams. It'd almost be like Bill Walsh college football meets television.
There ought to be an app that's just Jeff Cameron Show talking about whatever all the time, and it should be well funded. That's what I think.
It's got a WNBA drop down. They hit the button. Like, I don't like it, and then that's the end of it.
And here's just thoughts on that. I'm not watching it. Click. There was an actual preview the other day. What you need to know about the upcoming WNBA season, and I went, that should take 2 seconds.
That should take a full segment. We've missed this opportunity. We should have a segment on this.
I don't think so, because I'll just end up saying inflammatory stuff about how bad women's basketball is. It's unwatchable. But and here's the thing, though. I have conceded it's a lot better than it used to be. But then the next line is what would get me in trouble.
But it's still
it's gotten a lot better. I'll leave it at that. Florida State plays Louisville in less than 3 hours, and inexplicably, I'm excited about it. I'll talk about it next, along with some other items, including one that saw a pimping of a home run with a team down 5. And this is certainly one of those times, Tom, where it's not a mystery what we think. You got to throw at somebody there. And people will go, all these unwritten rules. Let them have more fun. Middle of the back every time, and for good reason. I'll talk about that, too. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Get to JCPenney and celebrate savings at our Memorial Day sale. Save up to 35% with major appliance hot deals on your favorite brands like GE, Samsung, and LG. Plus, 30-month special financing on purchases of $7.99 or more with your JCPenney credit card. Plus, free delivery and basic installation on all appliance purchases over $2.99. Save on major appliances now at JCPenney. That's getting your pennies worth. GEG, Profile, GE Cafe, and higher limited to 10% off savings. Available in select stores. Some exclusions apply. Financing terms valid 5/17 to 6/7. Subject to credit approval. Must request at time of purchase. Minimum monthly payments required. See store or jcp.com/appliances for details.
You see a beautiful yard. Weeds see a playground. The Home Depot can help. Right now, buy Roundup Weed and Grass Killer with Comfort Wand and get a free refill. Roundup kills the toughest weeds and unwanted grass right at the root. You worked hard for that beautiful yard. Keeping it weed-free should be easy. Get a fresh take on spring and a free refill with the purchase of Roundup Weed and Grass Killer, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only, limit 2 per customer, valid through May 31st.
Check out your many DeWalt FlexVolt options at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, your FlexVolt headquarters. Buy any of the following T1 DeWalt FlexVolt kits for $2.99, 60-volt max grinder kit or 60-volt max brushless reciprocating saw kit, and add one 60-volt DeWalt battery pack for less than half price. See store for details. FlexVolt, power of corded, freedom of cordless. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MP46050.
Live market pricing is better than ever at Werner Hyundai during the Better Than Ever sales event going on now. You'll get the best prices guaranteed. Get up to $10,000 in total savings off a new 2017 Hyundai Sonata, or up to $7,000 in total savings on a new 2017 Santa Fe Sport. You heard right. That's why it's the Better Than Ever sales event. These are the best deals in the 30-year history of Hyundai. Werner Hyundai does quick credit approvals over the phone and offers online delivery. Want to test drive first? Then take a better test drive. They'll pay for your gas if you go to them, or deliver straight to you for a remote test drive. And when you test drive, get a free smartwatch or MP3 player while supplies last. Enjoy a worry-free purchase with a 3-day buyback program and get Hyundai Assurance with America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and 2 years free maintenance. Why shop anywhere else? Werner has the best customer service, test drives, pricing, and warranty. Werner Hyundai, 252 Capitol Circle Southwest, or check them out online at wernerhyundai.com. Must approve finance through Hyundai Motor Finance with approved credit. See dealer for details. Sonata stock number GH329871. Santa Fe stock number HD492731.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Rough 24 hours to some extent for baseball. Kind of weird talking points that are all disappointing. Kevin Pillar's use of a homophobic slur after being angered by a quick pitch. Freddie Freeman expected to miss 8 weeks minimum with a fractured left wrist. That sucks. What a year he's in the midst of having. Really, go back to last year, the second half of the season to now. He's been great. And as a Braves, if you're a Braves fan, we have a lot of people listening to this show that are. I got the the positivity. I got why you were kind of excited about that team with the way that they're currently playing. I think they'd won 5 of 6. And they have some players that are fun to watch. He being chief amongst them, and that's a shame. Just unlucky. I talk about the spate of kind of unfortunate headlines. That's in there. So is Jamison Tyon's pathology report coming back for positive for cancer, testicular cancer. So now the process begins. That's what they suspected it was. We all knew that, but now they know it is. And then some of these headlines basically overshadow the year that baseball's best player is having. And what's funny is Freeman's numbers compare nicely. It's just that we never get to watch the game's best player night in and night out because he plays for the freaking Angels.
Wait a minute. I thought it was Bryce Harper.
No, man. And Trout is a guy that every night when we watch those highlights, he hit his 5th home run in 6 days. You're reminded of how spectacular he can be, and it's usually not at the plate because the plate numbers are obvious and they are overwhelming. Everything from the ops to the runs scored and all that stuff. But watching him defensively is when I find myself kind of going, ooh, that's how does a guy that size run like that?
He does a little bit of everything, but I did see the highlights of last night's game, and Albert Pujols with the walk-off last night. He's still playing baseball.
And decently.
Pretty good. He doesn't look jacked out of his mind or cut out of his mind. He's kind of gotten old. He's old and solid now.
Well, I think he's 62 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that said, what I was going to bring up was the incident last night between the Braves and the Blue Jays and the situation regarding Jose Bautista. Look, man, I get that a lot of people enjoy the bat flip. They think it's just wonderfully entertaining. But you make a mockery of the game and yourself a clown when you're flipping a bat down 5. And you've been owned by the Braves the whole series. The Braves have been steady kicking the hell out of Toronto. So you're on the back end of those ass kickings. You hit a home run and stare down the pitcher and bat flip? You have to wear it. This should be noted, too, by the way, and for any of you Braves fans that have watched that series, I think upwards of 7 Braves have been hit in that series before they finally hit our boy.
Yeah, they hit Devin Travis last night.
And he handled it like a man. He knew damn well he needed to be hit or somebody was going to be hit. And he didn't care because he understands the code. The code's the code. They police their own. He got it. Wore it, tossed the bat, ran to first, didn't even look out at the mound. Just, okay, that had to happen. I get it. And, people will argue. They'll say, going back and looking at Freddie Freeman getting hit or any of the other players, of which, again, several Braves were hit, breaking balls, off-speed pitches, clearly in situations where that wouldn't have been intentional. I don't care. The rule's the rule. Here's how this works. Going back to my favorite fight, the one that I saw, there I was in the first baseline watching the Pirates and Rays go at it. My Pirates in a 3-game series got hit 7 times by Rays pitchers. They get up 11-2 in the Sunday game, the Pirates do. It's the 7th inning. I turn to a friend and say, watch out. Here come the fireworks because we're going to start throwing at people. And that has to happen. And bam, it does. Eduardo Perez wearing a fastball followed by others. And then he had the gall to stare down at the pitcher. And you can hear our catcher go to first base. How dare you? It's like, what? Kendall was furious. And then the fight happens. Most guys get it. Bautista's a guy that just doesn't get it.
He's a habitual line stepper.
Habitual line stepper.
Was
you can't. Look, in the playoffs, to hit a home run of that magnitude against Texas in that situation, bat flip all day. I got you. Sheer joy and emotion overcomes you. You just did something rather significant in a really pressure-packed situation. Flippity-doo.
In a contentious series at that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. Flip that bat, baby. Everybody gets it. Middle of May, you've been having your head handed to you the entire series, down 5, bat flipping. What are we doing here?
Congratulations, you hit a solo shot off of O'Flaherty.
Who's laughing at you? I mean, go ahead, play that.
It's just turning into look at me stuff. It's not even about winning anymore. Guy wants to hit a home run in a 5-run game, pimp it, throw the bat around. I saw the video. He looked at me, tried to make eye contact. It's just tired. We've seen it from him enough.
I mean, and does it have an effect when it's somebody like that who has a reputation like that, or like you said, you have seen it from?
I mean, I'm surprised he's ready to fight again after last year. But he's throwing some looks around, so that's what it is.
By the way, I got to give Kurt Suzuki, who homered in that game last night, some credit. He tastefully had that conversation.
He did so to the first baseman.
Yeah.
Bautista had to stop in his home run trot.
Yeah.
Because he was offended that the first baseman might say something to him.
What's funny is I was listening to a conversation this morning about this incident and about how that plays in clubhouses and how that's policed by players, and that when guys are really, really good, and this is across sport, if you've had a lot of success, sometimes that emboldens one to believe that they're somehow tough because they're good at something. But hitting home runs doesn't make you tough. Being good at basketball doesn't mean you're the toughest guy in the room. It just means you're good at basketball. Jose Bautista showed he wasn't very good squaring up, and he can hit home runs. He can get punched in the mouth with the best of them.
By Odor, who's not afraid.
Who will throw a punch.
He's quick to punch a guy.
And about that shove life, he'll hit a bitch.
Hey, what you gonna do, boy? I'm punching your. Hey, do it then, boy.
Mm-hmm. So will he.
I want Trent Williams on the Bucks.
Oh, I do too.
I don't care if he's 39 and not any good. I just want him. He could be a backup, and then if anything goes wrong, we put him in the game. Go 6-0 line.
You're not stepping to him. He's not having a conversation.
Here. You going low on my boy here?
Yeah.
You tackling low around his knees? I got something for you.
What you gonna do? Bam!
Hey, what you gonna do, boy? I'm punching your. Hey, do it then, boy.
He barely gets the words out. My favorite part is, well, then do it, boy. As soon as he says it, it's like, bam!
Hey, what you gonna do, boy? I'm punching your. Hey, do it then, boy.
That didn't take very long. That's a big man throwing quick.
I say it every time. My favorite part is not the guy who's really concerned and on his way to the prayer circle with Russell Wilson, but it's actually the way that dramatically Trent Williams announces his own presence. It's like, Richard
just
Sherman
standing over him with the visor.
Talking junk, good game, and then all of a sudden you see this hulking figure emerge.
Just standing over him.
And it's standing over him.
Yeah, waiting for him to turn around.
Ask me anything.
Yeah.
It's Reddit moment here. Ask me anything, Richard Sherman.
And he does.
Hey, what you gonna do, boy? I'm punching your. Hey, do it then, boy.
I like the whoa. He actually hit him. Like, what are we doing here? My man is, he too isn't pushing and shoving.
Like being around the batting cages with Mike Piazza or Barry Bonds. That sounded different.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Whoa.
That's the dangerous kind of bat.
That's a little bit different right there. Yeah. That's, by the way, I will also note, I referenced the Kevin Pillar thing with the slur. I have to tell you that the various leagues that have come down on that, the NBA has, certainly. You remember Kobe Bryant getting in trouble.
The NHL did.
The NHL has. The NFL has. And Major League Baseball has. If you want perhaps some proof that it is making a difference to some degree and changing attitudes towards the use of that word and really that pervasive in the locker room mentality, watch Kevin Pillar's reaction upon saying what he said. It is believed that he used a homophobic slur. You guys all know what that is. And the one he used is the one that's used most prominently. And as soon as he does it, he is immediately embarrassed and I think regretful. I think he realized that he had gone and stepped well beyond any acceptable line. And I'm not saying, hey, listen, I can't remove it from his heart. I can't make him view the world differently. I can't make him more inclusive and more accepting. And I'm not naive to believe that in locker rooms all around all leagues that doesn't still go on. I got you. But I do believe that obviously that's top of mind. He realized as soon as he did it, I shouldn't have done that.
So what you're saying is Kevin Pillar is more aware of the line not to step over than Jose Bautista in a different realm.
Yes.
Is aware of the line not to step over.
Right. What I'm saying is, look, clearly that's not the first time Kevin Pillar has used that word. It was what came to him very quickly in the moment. So clearly it's part of his daily vernacular, perhaps. But the fact that he immediately felt some shame in doing so, and you can see it, and then he even backs off. As they're all yelling at him, he says, "I'm sorry." And he apologized after the game before it had ever come down that Major League Baseball was looking into the incident, before any announcement that they were going to review it, before any hint that anybody saw it. He's already saying, "I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I'm not going to give him too much credit here. All I'm saying is,
we're not holding a parade for somebody.
I'm just saying it's perhaps progress. That's all. That somebody would be mindful enough to know that you can't do that, and he's crossed all lines. Now, listen, would you like that lesson to take another large step forward? Sure. I'm just saying, baby steps, man, baby steps. Because I don't think, certainly in the era that I grew up playing sports, anybody would have had second thought.
Not even my era.
No. Right. So
Not
I'm just
a chance.
Just noting that. Okay, my man felt
you
instant.
would change your behavior on the court or on the field before you change your vernacular.
Right.
You know what I mean? If that kind of stuff was uttered.
Well, and look, the other thing.
Or you'd start a fight, you just punch a guy in the face, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah. Trent
Williams.
I will say again, locker rooms are interesting
Not advocating
places.
for that.
No, locker rooms are interesting places, and what's accepted in a locker room, the kind of discussion and conversation and whatever else you want to throw in there. If you've not been in a locker room, you probably can't imagine. It is. Things are said in locker rooms that guys know they can't say anywhere else. So to see those things begin to see those conversations and certain slurs and certain things like that change and attitudes change, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long, long time because guys are idiots. We're all dumbasses. You get around other guys, and you're just very casual. And
we're the exact same way we are in middle school. We just learn to conceal it better when we're adults. And think about how stupid we all were when we were 12 to 14 years old and in a group of 3 or 4 guys.
And hopefully, even
stupid
as
stuff all day.
Yeah, well, and it's just machismo stuff. It's a hey, I'm tough kind of thing, and it's that culture. It thrives there, and everybody tests everybody all the time. And sometimes it's with words, other times it's physically, like you're talking about. But the point is, I do think that people are certainly more aware, and also those attitudes have shifted largely, where maybe now it's understood that not only can you not say it, you need to check yourself in the way that you view people. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting just to see that. I bet that has changed quite a bit. I haven't been in a setting where I was amongst my peers in that way. I've been in the locker room as a reporter, as somebody asking questions, but everybody gets buttoned up once the reporters are allowed in, so you don't really see how a locker room looks.
So you're saying, if we're in a press box or something, that's not really there's not press box chatter that's akin to locker room chatter?
Not really, no. In fact, the press box is just, stifling. I'd much rather be in a locker room. The press box is impossible. That's why I leave it. It's just so boring, snooty, silly.
All you hear, keys punching.
You lose out on being at a game.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066.
Are you wanting to raise some extra cash fast? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need to clean out that garage full of stuff you never use? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need a newer car or truck and don't want to break the bank? Think Thrifty Nickel. Buying or selling, your best bet is Thrifty Nickel. All ads appear in print and online for maximum results. Place your ad today and ask for their guaranteed results special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
The North Florida Flats Fishing Expo is coming to town Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be held at Cornerstone Presbyterian Church, located at 3784 Sally Lane, Tallahassee, Florida. There will be kayak and fishing boat displays, a baits and rig presentation, fly tying and casting demonstrations, and presentations on dock safety. The Wilderness Way and Real Fin Attic Kayak Fishing will have a booth there. Any angler, either freshwater, saltwater, or fly, will find this expo a wealth of information. Come join Wilderness Way for this exciting day.
The next generation of power is at the Home Depot, and it's found in Ryobi One Plus tools. Right now during Ryobi Days, buy a Ryobi One Plus lithium-ion compact drill driver kit and get another select Ryobi One Plus tool free, a $79 value. The same battery runs both tools, plus over 70 other One Plus tools. So drill it, drive it, cut it, and save. During Ryobi Days, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid 5/18 through 6/22.
Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts during Clean Car Month for everything you need to keep your car looking new, like O'Reilly Car Wash, now $3.99 a gallon. Clean, shine, and protect your vehicle with O'Reilly Car Wash on sale for $3.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's the final 3 regular season games for Florida State baseball tonight through Saturday down in Louisville. Tonight's game 6 o'clock, as is Friday. Well, Saturday will go at 7:30. After that, Florida State will stay in Kentucky for the ACC tournament next week. Meanwhile, Florida State softball has one more day to prepare for its regional opener. They host Princeton Friday night in Tallahassee. 7 o'clock first pitch. That game can be seen on ESPNU. Florida Gator wide receiver Antonio Callaway has been cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession. That, according to Alachua County court records. In the NBA last night, the Cavs destroyed Boston in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 117-104. Game 2 is on Friday in Boston, while out west, the series heads back to San Antonio. The Warriors are up 2-0. And also, the Chargers and Rams have moved to Los Angeles, but that new stadium has now been delayed a year. The stadium, because of rain, will now open in the summer of 2020.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, hope you're doing well. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, remember, all 3 hours are posted every day upon the conclusion of the program, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. You can email the show if you like, jcs at 979 ESPNradio.com. When you go back and get caught up on the show, you'll note that there are very limited commercials. Not much there for you to have to sift through, and that's because we have a great sponsor, Carlton Dean. Go to carltondean.com and learn how to make money in commercial real estate. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs at 979 ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at jcameron.show. Oh, good tweet, Seth. Well done. I did not see Kevin Pillar's apology. I just now read it because he tweeted it. And my thought and hunch was that he was immediately embarrassed and ashamed of what he had said. Turns out to be exactly that. This is a well-penned apology, I might add. Usually, guys kind of have somebody else do it for them and then just say what they think they must. But he wrote, Tom, last night following my at-bat in the 7th inning, I used inappropriate language towards Braves pitcher Jason Mott. By doing so, I had just helped extend the use of a word that has no place in baseball, in sports, or anywhere in our society. I'm completely and utterly embarrassed. I feel horrible to have put the fans, my teammates, and the Blue Jays organization in this position. I've apologized personally to Jason Mott, but also need to apologize to the Braves organization and their fans, and most importantly to the LGBTQ community for the lack of respect I displayed last night. This is not who I am. We'll use this as an opportunity to better myself. It's not a bad apology.
If you're asking the PR firm, that's
about as good as it gets.
That's one for the binder, and we'll put it on the PowerPoint slideshow at our keynote this year.
Knowles Pack writes, at Jay Cameron Show, first day of my honeymoon is in Tampa, St. Pete area. Places to check out or avoid would be appreciated. Oh, buddy, we got you. Tops on your list, sir?
Well, I haven't been there, but there was a wedding reception that I missed because I was sick. Green Bench Brewing in St. Pete.
I've been there.
The Brew Tour in St. Pete in general.
Yeah, kicks ass.
Cigar City over in Tampa.
Yeah.
How about Top Golf in Brandon?
Nice.
Yeah.
Right by Top Golf action.
Well, it's by the casino, so there's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, and that right there on the Leroy Selman. You just kind of go over there. I like saying that.
Man, the old jingle for the Leroy Selman's barbecue was awesome. Leroy Selman.
Hate that Leroy Selman's dead.
Yeah,
hate it.
Good man.
Hate it. Good man. An amazing. He was the first guy. You know, the Bucks were so bad for so long, and he was the first guy that I ever saw play where, while I was in the stands, I could say it in earnest that we had the best player on the field. It was him. Only time I could. I mean, that was for so long. You could never say that any visiting team had the best player on the field.
Yeah.
But not after Leroy Selman was signed.
When was the next time that was the case? Sapp for the Bucks.
After Selman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
It gets difficult, yeah.
2 decades later?
Well, Paul Gruber.
Right.
Paul Gruber was probably...
He was getting older as I was finally starting to become aware of my surroundings.
Paul Gruber at his prime, you would have been able to make the argument on a lot of afternoons that he was the best player on the field. So, yeah, Gruber. Unfortunately, you could have never really. There weren't too many times that you could make the argument that Doug Williams was the best player on the field. He ended up having an historic moment. That's great. He's certainly, for me, a guy that I admired greatly for what he did for that organization and his place in football. But we shouldn't get it twisted. Doug Williams was never Joe Montana. And people talk about that in ways sometimes that stretch the notion of what he really was as a quarterback. I hear that all the time. But he had a Super Bowl for the ages.
Didn't we have a great punter in the early 90s? The Bucks? We had a great punter.
Well, yeah, but...
Not that that's anything to write home about. But I just remember growing up, and I remember my dad saying, "Well, Husted's a good kicker, and you got a good punter."
God,
but that's
Husted.
about it.
Michael Husted.
Michael Husted. Yeah.
Good Lord,
that's
Michael Husted.
The first name. This is the first name I can remember hearing Gene Deckerhoff say.
Really?
Yes, I can remember seeing. I could see my mom's Sony boombox on the counter, and the home game was blacked out in those days. And Michael Husted's field goal is the first thing that I can remember Gene Deckerhoff calling in my entire life. And he's called so many games that I've watched.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. You're so young. It cracks me up. I should move on from nostalgic Bucks reminiscing and move on to what LeBron James did last night. He is Now all NBA official today for a record-tying 11th time. Of course, what he did last night in the game against Boston, you talk about leaving scars. I'm talking about mental scars that are going to be tough to overcome if you're Boston. It wasn't like you didn't know that physically he's a tough matchup, but, man, to have a guy just toy with you in your house and embarrass player after player after player that you roll out there to try to guard him, that's emasculating.
I think there's some bad blood here, too, because of the media support for Boston and what the Celtics looked like they were going to be in the last 2 to 3 weeks of the regular season. If you remember, Cleveland is scuffling, losing an awful lot of games, and people are questioning
going
whether
through
or
the
not,
motions.
Yeah, well, but people were trying to prop up that there was actually a rivalry in the Eastern Conference, and it looked like Boston was going to carry the day as the 1 seed, and Isaiah Thomas was starting to really become a household name.
Well, Cleveland went in there and beat their ass.
LeBron was over it before they went into the Garden. Yeah. LeBron was over it after they kicked their ass, and it was in such a way that I thought, so he still got something for them. This has really bothered him the way
that has been talked about.
That's been talked about. And so it's no surprise to me that he continues the trend from the first 2 rounds. I think he'll play even better this round than he has in the first 2 because he's got an axe to grind with Boston.
I'll tell you this. If Cleveland goes through they just tied the record for most consecutive wins in the postseason, the NBA record, all-time record. If they go ahead and win this next game, which I think they will, they'll own the record, and you'll go ahead and chalk that up as yet another accomplishment for one LeBron James. But if they go on to win the title and beat that Warriors team, constructed as they are, after having done so as the underdog last year, I mean, will we finally get to a place where you can go ahead and say without reservation that LeBron James might be the greatest player to ever play basketball? Do you think it starts in earnest, like that begin? There are people who will say it now. It's not said with great frequency, certainly not by talking heads who specifically follow and cover the NBA.
I don't think this is how it works. I think there has to be another guy who's going to challenge the old guard when LeBron's days are, either done or he's in the twilight of his career.
And then as an old man, he holds it off and wins again?
No, I'm just saying the moment that there's somebody else that you can talk about as the best player in the league is when LeBron will be deified for being one of the greatest, if not the greatest players ever. Somebody else has to arrive in order to take that mantle away from LeBron, which is he's not Jordan. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be the next guy.
But it's already happened. I mean, we've got 3 or 4 guys that are the next guy. I mean, it was just a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, that people were beginning to say that Steph Curry was now the best player in basketball.
Sure, but at that time, LeBron hadn't won in Cleveland, and I think that's elevated him to another place when you're talking about all-time greats.
Yeah.
What that has done for his legacy has put him in a different category.
Well, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead in those finals, and since that time, Cleveland has gone on to sweep, not only win those last 3 games, but swept the Pacers and Raptors in the first 2 rounds of these playoffs, then take Game 1 over the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that is now a 12-game playoff winning streak tied for the second longest of all time. Only the Lakers, who won the last 2 games of the 1988 NBA Finals, then swept through the 89 Western Conference playoffs, have produced a longer playoff winning streak. The Cavs can tie that record, I should say, by winning Game 2 tomorrow, not pass it, but tie it. And then if they go ahead and go up 3-0, they will pass it, and it will be all of theirs. Golden State has a active playoff win streak as well. The Cavaliers aren't the only one. Golden State has won 10 straight playoff games now, tied for 6th longest streak ever, by sweeping Portland and Utah and going up 2-0 over San Antonio. You look all time at some of these teams that have had double-digit streaks. There haven't been that many. San Antonio did it in 2012, 2016, Cleveland, Golden State 2017. The old bad boy Pistons did it, won 12 straight from 89 to 90. Spurs 99, Lakers 2000, 2001, Cavs again this year, 2016, 2017. It's still going. And then the Lakers back in 88, 89. That's it.
So with the resumes the way they are right now for Golden State and Cleveland, who do you think is going to win? Obviously we still got a week to go in the finals, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, but who do you like?
Well, I'm rooting for Cleveland, but I think Golden State will win because I worry about Cleveland's defense against a prolific offensive team in Golden State. Cleveland doesn't play good defense against bad offensive teams. That will come back to haunt them. And you were just talking about the stretch they were in where people were beginning to think they were scuffling for real. And at some point, you don't say they're going through the motions. You say they just don't defend. They haven't had a great year defending. I don't think it suddenly gets ratcheted up to the level that would allow them to slow Golden State down enough to win a series, a 7-game series. They can win some games. I don't think they'll win the series that way.
I think in a weird way, watching what Kawhi was able to do in the first half with the Spurs tells me that there is great hope for
There is
Cleveland.
hope that it could happen, sure, but
Because
I wouldn't pick them.
I think it's obvious. There are more scorers on Cleveland's roster than there are San Antonio's roster. And LeBron is a tour de force and he's the best player in the game. So I think there's a distinct chance there. It's just that you're right. If you were looking at the way Cleveland defended the last month of the regular season, you'd say, well, they're going to go up and down the court with Golden State, and they won't be able to keep up.
You can't do that.
You set the over-under at 5.5 games in the series. But I think this is going to be the finals that we all hoped it was going to be. I just hope at some point, when we're in Eastern and Western Conference finals here in the near future, that we get something that we have built all year long as a power matchup, and we enjoy the sport for a month and not just 2 weeks. Last year we were surprised, don't get me wrong, by what Oklahoma City was doing to Golden State in building its own 3-1 lead, but the entirety of the season felt anticlimactic because we knew that those two teams were going to face off in the NBA Finals, and those are the two teams that we ended up getting. Hopefully there's just more drama.
The game last night we suspected would be a Cleveland win, if only because they were certainly the more well-rested team going into that game. But the way that Cleveland won and the way that LeBron James played, hell, for that matter, the way Kevin Love played, it was kind of startling, I would think, if you're a Celtics fan that wanted to believe that could be a reasonably decent series. I'm afraid this looked like a scrimmage. That was horrific defense, but also, if you're going to apply that and say, well, Boston's really got to – first of all, you can't give up so many points at the rim. And LeBron James got there whenever he wanted to get there.
The photo of him taking Isaiah Thomas with him as he's cramming says it all about last night. Yeah,
really kind of tough to watch, right? Yeah, sir. Anyhow, it's like a gnat, right? I mean, that's where 5'9" has its limitations. 5'9" ain't doing nothing to LeBron James.
Against an angry LeBron James,
exactly. Steph Curry found it out last year.
Yeah.
Because while Steph's not 5'9", compared to the giants of the game, he's not a big man. Woo. And he got manhandled.
The last two games of the series especially, there were two moments where you just felt uncomfortable for Steph. You felt
he's going to the basket, and you're watching LeBron just hover over him, and you're like, Steph, that's not Steph. Don't, Steph, that's no. Don't.
And then LeBron lets him know about it.
Oh yeah.
Listen here, puny man.
Yeah. Well, no, and he should have, because he had heard all about how Steph was now the best player in the world, and really, okay, go ahead and try to score. I mean,
come on.
It was kind of embarrassing.
I'm right here.
You're like, go ahead, try and score. Go ahead. You can shoot a jump shot. Go ahead. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Oh, you want to pull up from 3 from 29 feet off balance?
Yeah. Well, he's a joy to watch. And he's at a place where you'd think after all these reps, all of these years on those legs as the guy carrying a team and doing what he did from high school on up. I mean, that's an old for being a young guy. He's an old man. You know what I mean?
Hypothetically speaking, if he was using PEDs, would you care?
I care less about that as I get older in general, because I'm now of the thought that almost everybody who's really, really good at anything is probably cheating.
So no, really, honestly?
I mean, I would be disappointed, but it wouldn't last long. I don't know. I mean, I certainly don't care in football anymore, because I used to believe that, 99% of the guys playing in the league weren't on something, and now I believe 99% of them are. I'm serious. I think that almost anybody, if you start at linebacker in the National Football League, not only do I think you're using steroids, I think that you ought to be using steroids. So, I mean, that's
outside of what? Punter, kicker, quarterback?
Right. And we've had some of them busted. So, I mean,
for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, right? I hate it for the guys that aren't, because if you think a sport like that, as we always reference it, a gladiatorial, brutal game, And to do so with just your natural ability, if you choose to go that route and you somehow compete, survive, and thrive in that environment, naturally, when everybody around you is hopped up on goofballs and we're legitimately big badasses to begin with, that's remarkable, and you'll never get the credit you deserve for having done so. That makes you Herculean.
You think Chad Pennington could have benefited from some HGH?
I don't know if you've got a noodle arm, if it does anything for a quarterback.
And it helps with the
recovery of taking beatings and all of that. But I think if you've got a weak arm, you got a weak arm.
It increases your bat speed. I mean, pitchers use it. That's got to account for some velocity.
Maybe. Yeah, I would think, because you can certainly get a lot stronger in your base, and all that power derives from the legs on up. So maybe. I've always thought of, and what I've read, is that pitchers, relievers in particular, like Gagne, who threw 100 and rattled off a gazillion saves in a row after largely sucking their whole career as a starting pitcher. I was always told that it really wasn't to gain velocity. It was that they needed it to recover. But in the case of Gagne, when you look at him, it reshaped who and what he was. So, yeah, you're right. It certainly can add MPH to your career, to your pitches.
It is your privilege to inject me with HGH. I'm Chad Pennington.
I just thought about Gagne's bold foray into steroids. So think about that. That is, my man as a starting pitcher was a bum. Was just flabby, sorry. Nobody thought anything of it. The next thing you know, he's the greatest closer in the history of the game. Night in, night out, throwing 103 and then coming in and doing it again. Well, Gagne has really changed his diet. What's going on with Gagne? That's how old people were in that era. They're just like, I don't care. Apparently, we're not gonna see what's right in front of us. Nobody's gonna talk about this, so I'm just gonna use them.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Other night should we stop by the fourth quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the fourth quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Get to JCPenney and celebrate savings at our Memorial Day sale. Save up to 35% with major appliance hot deals on your favorite brands like GE, Samsung, and LG. Plus, 30-month special financing on purchases of $7.99 or more with your JCPenney credit card. Plus, free delivery and basic installation on all appliance purchases over $2.99. Save on major appliances now at JCPenney. That's getting your pennies worth. GEG, Profile, GE Cafe, and higher limited to 10% off savings. Available in select stores. Some exclusions apply. Financing terms valid 5/17 to 6/7. Subject to credit approval. Must request at time of purchase. Minimum monthly payments required. See store or jcp.com/appliances for details.
You see a beautiful yard. Weeds see a playground. The Home Depot can help. Right now, buy Roundup Weed and Grass Killer with Comfort Wand and get a free refill. Roundup kills the toughest weeds and unwanted grass right at the root. You worked hard for that beautiful yard. Keeping it weed-free should be easy. Get a fresh take on spring and a free refill with the purchase of Roundup Weed and Grass Killer, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only, limit 2 per customer, valid through May 31st.
Come see the all-new Bad Boy MZ Magnum and ZT Elite zero-turn mowers at TNT Supercenter. Both models offer the strongest decks in the industry and now have a new deck dial adjustment. Simply lift the deck and set the height with the twist of a knob. Manufactured from 7-gauge fabricated welded steel with an additional 3/8-inch leading-edge reinforcement, MZ Magnum starts at $3,399 and ZT Elite pricing starts at $4,499. Financing with no money down and payments as low as $77 a month with approved credit. TNT and Bad Boy Mower, on a mission to help everybody mow with an attitude.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. You're listening to the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Conor McGregor signs the deal to fight Floyd Mayweather, and it's something you should never pay for, so don't. I'm telling you now, don't bother. Don't waste your time. This is a nothing fight. Should never happen. Conor McGregor will get his ass beat in 30 seconds. This is silly. I can't sit idly by and let people waste their hard-earned money. Don't do it. It's not a fight. It's not a fight. They're going to box. They've decided if this happens, he has to agree just to box. What are we doing here? He's not a boxer. He is going to get crushed. It's never going to be a fight. You
don't think Floyd would carry it for 12 rounds without the knockout in
Mayweather
fashion?
He might punish him just to do it. Do you realize? Okay, look. And here's what I'll say. If you put Floyd Mayweather in the octagon and make him fight using Conor McGregor's rules, such as we take the gloves off and I can take you to the ground, Conor McGregor's going to beat Floyd Mayweather's ass. This fight's not going to last very long. Floyd Mayweather's going to get crushed. Couldn't compete. He could compete better in the octagon than Conor can in the ring.
Really?
Well, he's quick, so I imagine he can avoid the shoot. And he does have hand speed, so he can throw those hands and maybe land some shots and give himself a fighting chance. Conor McGregor is never going to touch Floyd Mayweather. And he doesn't have another option. He can't go and take him to the ground, which is what he would do in this situation, and use all the other tools of the trade to his advantage. He doesn't have it. He's stepping into that arena with the best in the world. Some say at what he does, maybe the best of all time. Their hand speed's not close to the same. It's not even. This isn't a fight. This isn't a fight. And I hate that. I mean, I can't imagine that that's going to go forward. To me, I know it behooves Conor McGregor to do it. I mean, he'll make hundreds of millions of dollars, more money than he could ever make in his field. But If I'm Floyd Mayweather, I'd do it to embarrass him. I'd humiliate his ass. I mean, this is not a fight.
You're offended.
Well,
You're clearly offended by this.
Because it's a ruse, man. Here's the deal. They're going to pull this over on people and kids in particular who don't know any better. And not that I'm worried about the youth of America. I'm just saying they're going to shell out the cash for this fight. And it's not a fight, man. It's not a fight. What would have been far more interesting is the reverse, to see Floyd Mayweather have to go into the octagon and whether or not he could hang in there with Conor McGregor. Because he has a better shot of it, like I said, in that arena than McGregor does in a boxing ring with boxing rules. Boxing rules, this isn't a fight. It's dumb.
So you think Mayweather has a better chance in the octagon than McGregor would in the actual ring? All right. I mean, you're bringing legs into this. You can kick and stuff, in the octagon. Mayweather ready for those variables and to dodge all that?
Listen, defensive fighting, quickness, foot quickness, all that other stuff, that's not going to leave you. I mean, he wouldn't win the fight. I'm saying he'd lose to Conor McGregor in the octagon, especially once Conor McGregor got a hold of him. But, no, yeah, he'd have a fighting chance because he can throw those hands and he's quick as hell. So, yeah, he'd have a fighting chance. Conor McGregor's got no chance in the ring. I shouldn't say no chance. Everybody who gets in a ring who knows how to throw a punch has a puncher's chance, as they say. So, yes, he could swing and connect and knock him out and maybe win that way. It's highly unlikely that far more skilled fighters, meaning boxers, who have done it their whole life and trained on positioning, footwork, could get into the ring, as they have time and again with Floyd Mayweather, and not even hardly touch him. We've watched Floyd Mayweather fight the best fighters in the world and have guys completely befuddled as to how to connect with them. And they're boxers. It's what they do.
But what if Mayweather was approached and he was told, Floyd, if you take a dive in this first fight,
then we set up a rematch and you make that much more.
You could make $1 billion.
Okay, so Floyd Mayweather is what? I don't have it in front of me, but if memory serves, I think he's 49-0. I know he's never lost, but I think he's 49-0. I could just look it up. I haven't. That said, you think in 49 fights against boxers, some of the best in the world, second, third, fourth best in the world in their weight class, and they couldn't touch him, have never come close to beating him? Those guys couldn't do it, but Conor McGregor is?
Well, you could factor in that Floyd is 40 years old, too. Maybe he's lost a couple steps. Well, I mean, hey, that was a salient point for the Pacquiao fight.
He'd have to lose a lot. But because Pacquiao's a boxer and was a really good one.
No, but age, that age is a factor in this.
Age is a factor, yes, if you're fighting another fighter who can throw like you can throw and understands movement and how to position and set you up and all those things. No. And I understand, if Conor McGregor hits you, you've got problems. I got you. He knows how to throw a punch. Yes, he's a beast. He's been fun to watch, but stand a chance in a boxing ring using boxing rules. Again, if this were the real world and you just say two guys are in a room and, hey, it's a fight and use whatever you know and what you bring to the table, yeah, I'd give Conor McGregor a chance.
The other thing to take into consideration, McGregor would have him in reach by a couple inches, but you'd say hand speed negates that and then some.
Yeah, I don't.
What weight would they fight it at? And I don't know what Mayweather's record is because I'm not, that big into Mayweather's career. What record he is and how good he's been, according to the experts, at the different weight classes. Because he's fought, obviously, in different weight classes and taken titles home in different ones. So is he better at 155 than he is at 138? Or I don't even know what the weight classes are.
Well, Mayweather is 150 pounds, and I would guess that's around. Well, I don't know how big Conor McGregor is.
I just looked him up.
Look up Conor
He's
McGregor.
5'9", 155.
Okay, so that's why this
is
even
a 74-inch reach.
That's why it's even talked about. But again, you're talking about. I mean, look, this is Floyd Mayweather, who at one time was considered by many as pound for pound the best fighter of the last 40 years. From I don't know, late 90s to where we are now. He's won 5 different division world championships, 15 world titles, twice at welterweight. He won an Olympic medal, I think, as a featherweight. I mean, he's been – that guy, even though he's 40, is so skilled that I don't think – I think he could literally just mock Conor McGregor the whole fight. I don't think this is even remotely competitive.
So would you want to watch that at least?
No,
Not pay for it.
I wouldn't pay for it.
But if you could find a way to watch it.
I mean, seeing a guy humiliate another guy in a combat sport like that, sure, there
is value in it. Just not the $150 you got to pay for it or whatever it was.
Well, and also I feel like one of the things I don't like about it is I feel like you take away. So again, if you're talking about a guy who will tell you that pound for pound he's the greatest fighter of all time, and then Conor McGregor is certainly boastful in his own right, and he'll tell you he's the greatest fighter of his generation and his sport. So the two of them think very highly of themselves, which is great. And all of that machismo plays out, and they have proven time and again that they are the best at what they do, or quite frequently are. I know Conor McGregor has lost.
Yeah, recently.
Yes, I watched that fight. That said, Conor McGregor does things that's going to be taken off the table. So all of the things that he could use to prove that he is a more skilled combatant, that in a real world situation without a bell and referees, we're at a bar, we meet, we spout off, it's go time. The things that he would use to try to win that fight, he's not being allowed to use. He can't use it.
So it's like if Batman was to fight Superman and Batman was not allowed to use kryptonite in any way.
You mean Superman wasn't allowed to use?
Batman couldn't utilize kryptonite.
Yeah, well, that's for anybody because you can't beat Superman. Without kryptonite, you can't. Nobody can beat Superman.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. It's akin to that.
It's futile.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. What are we doing?
I'm trying to make a comic book analogy for our younger demo.
I got you, but I'm saying, yeah. I mean, you can't beat Superman. He's Superman. What the hell are you going to do? And even with the kryptonite, that's not fun either because then he's no longer Superman. He's just weakling. There's nothing.
You're just a man now.
You got to find a happy medium, something that slows him down a little bit. Maybe you take away his freeze breath.
Freeze breath and the laser eyes?
Yeah.
Well, still, you can't break his bones. As long as the sun is shining, Superman is Superman.
That's it. That's the end of it.
Maybe it's during an eclipse.
It's not even really. Yeah. It's not even a real
for a
fight,
3-minute
man.
eclipse.
Yeah.
Here's one round.
All right, Superman. Now look here. I'll fight you. I'm taking away your freeze breath. Can't use the freeze breath. All right, I won't use the freeze breath. And the sun can't shine. And I have kryptonite. All right, I'll sign. No freeze breath. It's dark, and I've got kryptonite.
And this summer on HBO for only $279.95.
Oh, what a dumb fight this is going to be. Don't even bother. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
23 North Monroe Street, or call them at 222-2532.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
The North Florida Flats Fishing Expo is coming to town Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be held at Cornerstone Presbyterian Church, located at 3784 Sally Lane, Tallahassee, Florida. There will be kayak and fishing boat displays, a baits and rig presentation, fly tying and casting demonstrations, and presentations on dock safety. The Wilderness Way and Real Fin Attic Kayak Fishing will have a booth there. Any angler, either freshwater, saltwater, or fly, will find this expo a wealth of information. Come join Wilderness Way for this exciting day.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. 800-344-2066. That's 800-344-2066.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts from happening. Don't miss this limited time offer. Give us a call, because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now, and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait.
800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. That's 800-489-1397.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's the final 3 regular season games for Florida State baseball tonight through Saturday down in Louisville. Tonight's game 6 o'clock, as is Friday. Well, Saturday will go at 7:30. After that, Florida State will stay in Kentucky for the ACC tournament next week. Meanwhile, Florida State softball has one more day to prepare for its regional opener. They host Princeton Friday night in Tallahassee. 7 o'clock first pitch. That game can be seen on ESPNU. Florida Gator wide receiver Antonio Callaway has been cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession. That, according to Alachua County court records. In the NBA last night, the Cavs destroyed Boston in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 117-104. Game 2 is on Friday in Boston, while out west, the series heads back to San Antonio. The Warriors are up 2-0. And also, the Chargers and Rams have moved to Los Angeles, but that new stadium has now been delayed a year. The stadium, because of rain, will now open in the summer of 2020.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. John, we weren't actually debating whether Batman or Superman was going to win a fight. You tuned in late. He was using that as an analogy of why we ought not watch, or why I think you ought not watch or bother with Conor McGregor and that ridiculous fight against Floyd Mayweather if it were to happen.
Hashtag a-hole.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Do you think Mayweather? Well, I mean, he'll want $200 million, and then we'll have to see this endless promotion for nonsense that it's really just not even going to be a fight.
Yeah, they're trying to stay relevant, I guess, with these negotiations for the better part of a year now.
Tell you what is apparently an epidemic. I had no idea that this was a thing, but it appears to be. As I read about this, once a month now? Another fan has died after falling at a baseball game. Get it together, people. Obviously, sympathies to the family and all of that. It's terrible, and we don't want to see anybody die. That's a given. I shouldn't have to say that, but sometimes I think I do because people, I don't know, misinterpret my cynicism. But here's the deal. I don't know. Maybe it was just because the internet wasn't around, but I don't recall ever reading about these kinds of things. And now it seems like that's once a week. Somebody's fallen in a damn stadium and dying. Get it together, folks. Now, I know this may come as a surprise to some of you, but I, too, have been inebriated at a sporting event and have never come close to falling out of the damn stadium. It happens all the time.
If there was ever a story that was going to take away our top headline being that Coach K has passed Bob Knight for the most wins all time in college basketball history, it would be that you were inebriated at a sporting event?
It's happened.
That's insane.
I believe, I'm going to venture out on an island here just to guess, that you probably have been too.
Well, we were going to lead with the fact that Nick O'Leary is Jack Nicklaus's grandson.
Sure.
And in turn, that means that Jack Nicklaus, legendary golfer, is the grandfather of former Florida State tight end Nick O'Leary.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, we're going to go with I've been inebriated at a sporting event in the past.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
A Wheaton man died a day after falling over a railing and hitting his head while leaving Wrigley Field after Tuesday night's game. Richard Garrity, 42, pronounced dead 3:30 this afternoon. According to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office, Garrity was taken by a private ambulance to the hospital. Obviously, that's all very sad, and we hate to see that. The Cubs have sent their thoughts and prayers, as organizations are wont to do after patrons fall out of their stadiums and die. But I just still don't know how it happens. Of course, there's the obligatory, he was a great guy, everybody loved him, this is a tragedy. And it is. It's obviously awful. I mean, he's got kids and all that other stuff. I'm not trying to make light of that. I do not understand, other than to say that when I read this story, apparently he was there as an office party, and I think he may have worked. There's two different stories. One of them referenced Heineken. It's like
that's not really good pub for this moment.
I was just thinking they were getting loose. I imagine that's quite the party, or not. I don't know what happened, and I just know that it was 40 minutes after the game that he fell out of the stadium. So what's going on here?
Either you're trying to hop on the railing for a photo, or you're inebriated. Right? These are the two most logical explanations for something like this.
Well, actually, the game ended at 10:20. He was leaving the ballpark when the incident occurred. It was 11. Garrity, a marketing manager for Heineken. Okay, I didn't have it wrong.
All right.
Had gone to the Cubs game against the Reds as a work outing with colleagues. So the family that's grieving and all of that and those kids, it's an awful, awful story. I just don't understand why I'm reading stories like this on the regular these days. People falling out of freaking stadiums left and right. Get it together, folks. It's just not that hard. There's all kinds of ways to get in and out of stadiums that don't put you in peril. Never came close. The only time I've ever been fearful that something like that could happen where you could legitimately fall and die in a stadium is the upper deck at Clemson is awfully steep.
Dude, that's not cool.
Well, I didn't make the stadium.
Yeah,
what do you want me to do?
I just got the feeling back, Because you're trusting others. It's not about heights as much as it is you're trusting others.
Not to shove you?
Yeah, because I was there for the Labor Day game. I guess that would have been,
Yeah, man, that's...
2007?
You do have to trust in the humanity of those around you whom you do not know.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
and
tough.
There are some frat boys from Clemson
Right
a row
off the
above
bat,
me,
I'm thinking this isn't good.
and they're swaying back and forth
Whoa.
because they've had too many.
And you're probably rooting for them to fall, but I'm
No,
saying...
not when I'm sitting a row below them.
Well, that's true. They would grab you and take you with you.
I'm the head pin.
Yeah,
and,
it's not good.
I'm the number one pin.
No, can't happen.
Same thing in Texas. That's pretty steep up there.
Never
were in
been
the
to
upper
that
deck.
stadium. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't like the stadiums that are so steep that when you get up there, you're like, well, this is, one little slippity-doo, and we got problems.
Also, note to fans everywhere, if you're looking to explore this college football season and Texas is on your list, don't get seat number 1. That's not an aisle seat. That is the middle of 2 joined sections.
Oh, also known as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're about 30, 35 seats, and they're that far up upper deck, and you have to crawl across that many people.
God, stop it.
Yeah. Seat number 1 is actually not an aisle seat,
So you know
don't
what's
get
interesting?
jobbed.
You know what's interesting, by the way? Your reaction, which to me, it's visceral. I'm watching you kind of clam up and freak out a little bit about the idea of being in the upper
You got
deck.
to trust
at
them.
Clemson.
Well, it's the walking over people, bumping into their legs
Oh,
and their
yeah.
knee. Oh, man.
Okay, but you know where I do that is anytime you'll never see me stand close at a subway. You'll never by the tracks.
Oh, really? That
Oh, no, man. Well, people
Or
get
that
pushed
does
into
bug
the.
you, I mean? I'm sorry.
People get pushed in front of those things all the time. I'm forever reading in New York. People just get tossed in front
So
of
you're
the.
just watching your back at all times.
Oh, nobody.
Do you lean against the wall while you're waiting for the subway?
The pole. I'm
Yeah.
up against the pole. I'm like, no,
Hey.
nobody's pushing me, man.
Yeah.
I'm on this pole. I'm working that pole,
Yes,
Tom.
sir.
Nobody's
Yes, sir.
getting over here, man. Nobody.
That's what Atlanta has that with the MARTA system, and they have, the little, I guess, bathrooms or whatever, but you can lean against the wall. And yes.
Yeah, you know
I
what
do
I'm
the
saying?
same thing.
Yeah, I don't trust people.
Well, especially if you're in New York. Good
That's what
Lord.
I'm saying.
Yeah, there's some psychos in there.
There's a lunatic just
Guy
sitting
might be
there
playing the
just,
violin 1 minute, asking for change. The next,
shove your ass right out there. Yeah, I'm not doing it, man. You're like, what the?
that's accurate.
So my life is just going to end because this guy is schizophrenic.
At least if he grabs me by the shoulders, when I'm leaning against the wall, I got a fighting chance to just toss his ass in the tracks.
Right, and you see him coming, too.
Yeah.
He can't sneak up on you. You're like,
No.
uh-huh.
Well, that's
I see
where,
a fiddle player.
kids of this generation need not be lost in their phones.
No.
You are really susceptible to this problem.
I watched a special how in Japan it's so packed in the morning commute, and they literally have people who help shove you into. No.
There are devices akin
what
to.
What are we doing here?
When you're shoving, you're at a craps table, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. I know what you're talking about.
And you're shoving the chips down into a pile.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do with the people.
They do that with the people, and you see these people. Their faces are against the window for their miserable ride to work, where no doubt they want to jump out of the damn window. But I'm thinking to myself as I watch this, I'm swinging on jokers left and right at that point. We've got issues. I'm Costanza throwing old people aside as I leave the burning building. I'm not. There's no way that I couldn't live there if I had to go to work and that's the way you had to go. No, it's not happening. I'm just homeless. I'm not doing it. I don't have a job.
Well, you get a car service. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, think about claustrophobia in Japan.
It's the worst.
Just as two combined concepts, because there are little tubes that you can sleep in hotels there if you want to slum it.
No.
So you sleep in a tube,
I'm
and then
not
you go
sleeping
to the
in
metro.
a tube. Have you ever had an MRI?
No, I've not.
So it's uncomfortable.
Is it really?
It's a little. Yeah, you got to not think about it.
Any number of shows, the medical shows, Breaking Bad.
No, you got to not think about what's happening and somehow get into another place. You've got to, because otherwise you start to go. You start to freak out. I would not have been a tunnel rat in Nam, man. That's not me.
God,
I'm not.
no.
Think about that.
Yeah, well,
those
then
dudes
there's
jumping
another.
down. No, man. But tunnel ratting, and I would have been scared to death more of the bugs than anything else.
Well, yeah, you should talk to my dad because he confirmed those two things for you.
I
as
know.
The most.
Tunnel rats. That's crazy.
He was also walking perimeter patrols. At night he could hear the footsteps on the other side, and it was kind of the idea that I'm going to let you pass, you let me pass, and let's not start nothing. Because if you shoot a flare up,
then it's over. Yeah,
you're done, and he's done.
And then everybody's eyes are upon you in the bush.
Yeah.
No.
That's the kind of
that's the kind of fun and games we're having around here.
No, sir. Well, he said it was either basic or advanced infantry training because he enlisted just before the draft.
Right. My dad enlisted as well for the reasons probably that your dad did.
And they had a course, Yeah, because he knew his number was going to get called. You know, you could
Exactly.
You knew these things. And there was a course with all kinds of barbed wire and stuff behind the drill instructor. And while that was going on, they had captured Viet Cong coming through that area. And they successfully navigated, even though they were just bleeding all over. And he said, "This is the face of your enemy, and they do not fear like you do. So we need to teach you not to fear."
Oh, well, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just an exercise. That's an exercise in futility.
No, yeah.
At Jay Cameron Show, let's get off the subject for a second. Nothing has ever given me more anxiety than taking my 4-year-old to the nosebleeds of an NBA game, sweating on every step. Well, I can't imagine introducing my child to the conversation here. A little kid of any kind venturing with me to the upper deck at Clemson or something like that, where you are, it's tenuous. So you're nervous. No, I don't like that. I don't like I don't think I'd do it. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
problematic.
I've had limited experience. You're a father, so you've had far more. But in my oldest sister's old house, the stairs to the basement were rather steep. And there were times when I'd be carrying my 2-year-old niece
you think
down
if I
the steps.
slip,
And, right.
Yeah, no, you do.
Now put yourself in an arena, when you're around a whole bunch of other idiots.
Oh,
I can't imagine what
funny.
the paranoia feeling is like for a parent.
No, and every father or mother listening to this can relate to this. It's amazing I've told you this over the years that your senses are heightened, your awareness is heightened when you're in a parking lot with a kid or anything else. You're looking at every driver and you're projecting 5 and 6 moves in advance. Hey, did this guy look shaky? This woman's not paying attention. She's looking at her phone. This guy's turning left. I don't think that truck realizes that. He's backing out. This is potentially a situation where you could get crushed between 2 cars. All right, let's step over here. You're doing this all the time. That's your mind. That's why it's exhausting to be a parent. And it's also awesome, but it's what is exhausting. You're always looking. Well, one of the things that also happens is your tolerance for nonsense, for people's buffoonery, is at nil. And so while you want to set a great example for your children, and you certainly don't want to invoke violence, in your mind, you are very quick. I would be quick to beat your ass, guy, if I think you're coming close to doing something that could endanger my child. Like, I'm not waiting around to find out if my suspicion or hunch is accurate. You're just going to get hit. So it's funny, like, I've never had to do that, but I'm saying you are of that mindset when you're in an arena or any place where there's a mass gathering. You're kind of like, listen, I'm a grown man. My fighting days are long since past. I don't want to hit anybody, but you would for your kids. And so that's the place where you feel that.
Have you ever gotten to a place where your adrenaline spiked because of that feeling?
Once, but I just removed us from the situation.
That's smart.
Yeah, that's a bad feeling.
Okay, what about this? When you're driving your 2 sons, obviously your whole family's going to Atlanta. Have you done that?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's not fun, although I don't.
It's already not fun as a driver
just
by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's when you get there, you feel like maybe you aged a few years.
Right, yeah, you go through the 8 lanes, and then you get on either 285 or go around the city. Yeah. Trucks moving in the left lane, and then guys going 80 and 40 and 55 and 75.
I've taken the kids to Miami. I've taken the kids up to Atlanta. I've taken the kids. I drove them to Tennessee up in the mountains. We've done all that stuff. Yeah, that's
the mountain driving. That's a special kind of.
The problem is you want to be the driver when you're in the mountains, because if you're not, you're going to puke. And Clark did, all over himself.
Poor guy.
I felt bad for him, but I also was really pissed. I didn't express that to him, but my wife could see I was. It's a shame Clark is not feeling well.
It's important to have a good car like your fully loaded Pathfinder from Kraft
is.
Nissan in that situation, because when you're driving in the mountains and you have to go up those straight up
you
the hill
you need to be able to get it.
My worst fear, I think, in driving is the car failing as it's going up the hill, and then the engine gives out and you just end up.
Can't steer, and you're just done dealing. You're just done. That's a bad deal right there. No. I don't have that problem thanks to my fully loaded Kraft Nissan Pathfinder. And those were leather seats, so I was saved with that vomit. Quickly, Scooby-Doo. It's still miserable. Still miserable.
When When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
It's your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Are your data limits limiting your human potential? Dreams buffering. Do slow networks make your soul feel sluggish? Megabyte molasses. With Simple Mobile, you get truly unlimited high-speed data for just $50 a month. Bucks meaning dollars, not dear. If you want better wireless, the answer is simple. Simple Mobile.
Available at Kroger, Family Dollar, Best Buy, and other national retailers. Video typically streams at DVD quality. A month equals 30 days. Please refer always to the latest terms and conditions of service at simplemobile.com.
Want a bright start to summer? Ask Sherwin-Williams during the National Painting Week sale and save 30% on paints and stains, May 19th through the 29th. With colors like pool blue, organic green, and daffodil, we've got everything you need to add a splash of color. Your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams paint store is right around the corner. Find it at sherwinwilliams.com/save. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Have you thought about becoming a member of Killearn Country Club and haven't yet made up your mind? Well, now is your chance to be a member for a day without any commitment. That's right. You can be a guest at Killearn Country Club and experience all the amenities of a regular membership. Take a dip in the pool, hit some balls with a partner on the tennis courts, or play a round of golf. Come see all that Killearn Country Club has to offer. Guest dates are Monday, May 15th and Sunday, May 21st. Making up your mind just became a lot easier. Contact Lori Wilkie, General Manager at lwilkie@KillearnCountryClub.com today to reserve your pass. Now is your chance to experience Killearn Country Club's Junior Olympic-sized pool, recently new surface tennis courts, and the 18-hole magnificent championship golf course. Don't wait. Contact Lori Wilkie today to make your reservation for either Monday, May 15th or Sunday, May 21st. That's lwilkie@KillearnCountryClub.com.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's the final 3 regular season games for Florida State baseball tonight through Saturday down in Louisville. Tonight's game 6 o'clock, as is Friday. Well, Saturday will go at 7:30. After that, Florida State will stay in Kentucky for the ACC tournament next week. Meanwhile, Florida State softball has one more day to prepare for its regional opener. They host Princeton Friday night in Tallahassee. 7 o'clock first pitch. That game can be seen on ESPNU. Florida Gator wide receiver Antonio Callaway has been cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession. That, according to Alachua County court records. In the NBA last night, the Cavs destroyed Boston in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 117-104. Game 2 is on Friday in Boston, while out west, the series heads back to San Antonio. The Warriors are up 2-0. And also, the Chargers and Rams have moved to Los Angeles, but that new stadium has now been delayed a year. The stadium, because of rain, will now open in the summer of 2020.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least 4 today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything. But if you do, remember this. You can go back and get caught up at your leisure. We've got a wonderful podcast sponsor that allows you to do that with limited commercial interruption. Carlton Dean. CarltonDean.com. Go there to learn more. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. And remember, the WTSM app is a good one. You can use it for both Android and iPhones. And we're on YouTube. If you go to ESPN Tallahassee on the YouTube channel, you can watch us perform the show. So, kind of an interesting and boastful claim from John Swofford at the spring meetings over in Amelia Island. Tom is immediately suspect. I say John will come through, as he has time and again, in elevating the Atlantic Coast Conference into its place of prominence, just as he has each of the last few years. Way to go, John! 2 weeks after mocking, quote-unquote, so-called experts on social media who questioned whether ESPN would move forward with its planned ACC cable television network in 2019, Conference Commissioner John Swofford sounded even more bullish about the channel's future today. Speaking to a gathering of reporters following the ACC spring meetings at the Ritz-Carlton at Amelia Island, Swofford said the linear ACC network is on schedule and that he has received, quote, absolute complete assurances from ESPN executives that everything is full go. Well, listen, all jokes aside, sarcasm and any sort of cynicism, you don't say that, and he doesn't have a history of saying outlandish things. You don't say that if you haven't been told by ESPN executives that, in fact, the station is going to exist and that they are full forward moving with the plan to have the station up and ready to run by 2019. You just wouldn't say it.
No, because then you're putting your own job on the line.
Yes, you are.
I would think that this means that there's a repurposing. ESPN can't be adding another channel, can it? I mean, we talked about this the other day.
Not with all the cutting back, no.
No, so it has to be a repurposing of news or something like that that's already built into their cable packages, their digital cable package, not the basic one that you get, but the second tier.
Second tier, yeah.
It's already got to be built in to what they already bring to DirecTV, Dish, and Comcast.
I'm blown away by this, and I'm excited about it. Not because I really love watching Duke play football, but because, listen, man, he's talking about this seriously shrinking the gap, the revenue gap between the ACC and the rest of the Power 5 conferences. And that's a big damn deal. In fact, that's the only thing that's going to allow Florida State to continue this ridiculous arms race that we are most certainly involved in and will have to be moving forward. There is no alternative. This is what big-time college football looks like right now. We decided a long time ago that we wanted to play big-time college football. And so there's no going back. And we get into this discussion, not you and me, we don't get into arguments about this, but this is a contentious talking point for people about what's happened to college football and the money's ruining everything. That ship has sailed, man. The money ruined things ages ago. We're done having this conversation. They're going to continue to do this until there are rules put in place that won't allow them to do this. And until that time, Florida State has to find a way, simply has to find a way to compete with the Joneses.
I just have a hard time believing that ESPN is going to find the money for this project. You could say that they're contractually obligated to do so. I would tend to believe they'd release the ACC from a network contract before they'd pay the increased amounts of money if it's commensurate to what the SEC, Big Ten, and Pac-12 are making. That just doesn't make sense to me. Everything that ESPN is telling us by the actions it's taking underneath Disney is that it doesn't have money to spend. So where is it coming from?
Well, this is interesting because it's not like ESPN's broke, and Disney is getting angry, certainly, about the amount of money that Florida State, listen to me, that ESPN was costing them. Obviously, it became a real problem, and they have to report to shareholders, and they got to make some changes. And we've seen ESPN make wholesale changes, but those changes have involved people's salaries, high-profile personalities on the network. They've now shed themselves of over 300 of those personalities in the last 5 years. 300 people. It's rather amazing.
And producers.
People behind the scenes you don't know, people like that. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. That's what's going on now with ESPN. But obviously, if you think about it, the SEC Network, I guess, is doing well. I mean, one of those people not cut was Paul Feinbaum, and his show's terrible. It's an embarrassment to shows that have ever existed, all shows. He's talentless, does nothing. And they continue to pay him handsome to let there and sit up there and have a bunch of rednecks yell racist stuff at each other all day. I mean, that clown still has a job, so clearly that must be doing well.
It has to be. Well, I mean, Jerry Springer did well. What did that offer to the conversation about?
No, we're not talking about what it does for us as a country or as a people.
But from a ratings standpoint, Jerry was a ratings boon.
Right. So they had advertisers.
Yeah.
And they made money. So, I mean, that's what's going on. I would assume these individualized networks that they've decided to go that direction are working. I mean, financially, it's working. Will the ACC? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think so.
I guess, but again, we talked about it and we used the example about locally, what we've seen with our own eyes and what we've experienced in our own careers, and you were at the old place of employment far, far, far longer than I was.
Yes.
Much to your chagrin, apparently. But how much are you spending to wear it and brand yourself and then make your overall lineup stronger versus how much you're making directly from the product? Like, I doubt the check that ESPN is cutting to the institutions of the Southeastern Conference, if you combine all those numbers, multiply the individual by 14, that's the total share they give out. They're not making that much money in return from the SEC Network.
No, but
there's no way.
But again, it's their branding, right? And we talk about that. That is, I mean, they are entertainment, and they've gone that route. Entertainment is a capital E these days, and the S is not. I got it. But they still have to have something entrenched in sports, and they decided that college football really matters to them. And they decided college basketball really matters to them, which is what I find interesting. It's largely why the ACC was ever going to get a network to begin with, was the basketball. So they've already committed to that. See the firings and note how few are involved with college football or college basketball. There is, Andy Katz was a big one, but that's an internet sort of deal more than it is a TV personality. So
I think the only way this makes sense is if they repurpose the network, and then they've already kind of signaled what they want to do with ESPN2, right? How that's going to be in January of next year. It's going to show a lot of replays. It's going to have the Mike Greenberg show on replay from 10 to 1. It's going to have First Take on replay from 1 to 3. It's going to have NFL Live on replay till 4:30.
Can I just raise my hand and say, who in the hell is sitting down to watch the Mike Greenberg show from 10 to 1?
I can tell you who's not.
Yes, you
Mike
can.
Golick.
Well, and you and me and anybody who doesn't want to put a gun in their mouth.
Mike Golick could be working opposite Mike Greenberg from a time slot standpoint in a different portion of the day, and I get the sense that he's not going to spend 1 second of his time viewing that show. That's just the sense we get.
Let me read further here while we can so I can continue to vet this article. Ira, our good friend, Ira Schafel, wrote the article. It is findable. I'm skipping over parts. You can view it in its entirety on warchant.com. Need to give credit where credit's due. Pac-12 schools received more than $28 million for the fiscal year 2016, the most recent numbers available. Florida State got $24 million from the ACC. Big Ten schools reportedly are receiving over $30 million annually, and some SEC schools, got in excess of $40 million last year. Swafford said the vast majority of that disparity is based on earnings from those conferences' cable television channels, particularly the highly profitable Big Ten and SEC networks, and he's confident the ACC planned offering will bring its revenue up to speed. Quote, very confident. When asked about the fledgling network and whether or not it can make up the difference, that's why we're doing the channel, Swafford said. The ACC fully expects a gap in revenue continue for a couple of years. We fully expect that gap will narrow considerably once the channel is up and running. The ACC and ESPN announced the creation of the new channel just last July, you'll recall. Some media analysts immediately began to speculate about the viability of ESPN's planned ACC channel. And certainly they brought it up again when they announced 100 layoffs, including, as we well know, and I just referenced, all those pretty big to-do on-air personalities, if you will. And that had to happen to account for diminishing revenues tied to the cord cutting. That has led Swafford to send a memo. May 3rd, by the way, that memo was sent out to its conference presidents and the athletic directors and other officials, and he told them that ESPN president John Skipper personally told him that the channel's development was full speed ahead. Now, that was on May 3rd.
And that's what made this line of questioning, the number one deal in these ACC meetings. That everybody went there, and you're going to have to talk to the coaches and get whatever nuggets you can.
But
and
they really didn't care anything that the coaches had to say.
They wanted to talk to Skipper about the network. Is this thing actually happening? And again, they're not going to create a new channel out of thin air. It doesn't make sense. The only way this works is if they outsource the programming to local entities. I don't even know. Maybe they work hand in hand with Raycom, Raycom obviously is going to be the one that's ousted in favor of the ESPN ACC network, but maybe they use those studios, that personnel. It just doesn't make sense to me that they're going to be cutting all these checks to create new original programming for the ACC network.
What I find fascinating, and in this part of it is it is ever-changing, but he did acknowledge, Swafford did, that it's going to be difficult to project with any degree of certainty, or the degree of certainty we want to hear, what actual ACC channel revenues would look like because of the changing media landscape. I mean, you have millions of consumers dropping cable, period. But he did say this in a follow-up, and I find this fascinating. The ACC's business agreement with ESPN is very, very similar, he says, to the SEC's. And he said ESPN has plans in place. If the cable markets crumble, ESPN has a plan in place. Well, I would think by now they'd have to, right? I mean, that has to happen.
Yes, unless ESPN wants to come out from the contract and kill it. I mean, to me, he's laying this at the feet of John Skipper. I mean, I think
which is smart to do. If Skipper's the one telling you personally that we're moving forward with the channel.
Well, what I'm saying is I think Swafford is being careful here to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you're blaming Skipper. It ain't on me.
But it wouldn't be on him, because at this point it would be on John Skipper and ESPN, because the deal is already signed. They've already had to cut checks. They've already moved forward. Florida State's installing whatever, cable and all this other stuff in order to be able to do these shows. Clemson's doing it. I just read the other day that North Carolina is investing millions of dollars. I'm talking about the student run.
Yeah. The only way this makes sense is if, let's say you outsource and you get these programs for a half an hour, like the things we see on Sun Sports, Seminole Sports Magazine,
right.
The coaches' shows, and then you put those on rotation all day long with old classic ACC games, and then you only break into that content with live ACC action. That's the only way this makes sense. But then again, I suppose that's not all that different from ESPN News model, which really doesn't have anything live, or what ESPN2 is about to do weekdays during the day next year. It's going to be a replay channel.
Yeah.
Hell, they got the syndicated intentional talk on at 4:30,
which is
from
crazy.
an MLB Network production. That's the model that this is going to have to be if they're going to be able to generate the revenues that we want to see from ESPN.
The launch is in 2019. That's still scheduled to happen. If there were any concerns, obviously, about the future of that happening and that network to exist over the last couple of weeks, they've apparently been allayed. Because, again, here's another quote for you. This is from Stan Wilcox, who says, we've had conversations along the way with the commissioner, with ESPN. FSU's athletic director, Stan Wilcox, goes on to say, we've been getting updates all along. We know where things are at. Clemson's athletic director, Radakovich, says, it's full steam ahead. Our partner has done a wonderful job. It's a process. That's why it does take a few years to get one of these things off the ground. But we're hitting each one of the marks right on time. ESPN is very happy where we're at right now. We're all excited moving forward. Well, these guys are singing Kumbaya, man.
All right, remember this.
Well, nobody will forget it. They basically all just announced, not only is the channel in full status go, it's going to kick ass. It's right around the corner. Woohoo!
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
These right here, close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna. I-10, exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Don't start your day off with the same old boring breakfast. Stop by the Bagel Market and Bistro on Thomasville Road and the Persimmon Hills Shopping Plaza. They have fresh baked bagels and cream cheese every Monday for only $1.50. Green smoothies and great salads like the spinach apple salad. Muffins and cinnamon rolls are also options for breakfast. Sandwiches, salads, and more for lunch and dinner. Open 7 days a week. Check them out online at thebagelmarketandbistro.com or on Facebook and give them a call at 765-0598.
If you haven't stopped into Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney. Hey, it's me, Marissa.
Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the Fourth Quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the Fourth Quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the Fourth Quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the Fourth Quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Hey, Wally Woodham here. In 1974, I set the national high school passing record at Leon High with 3,560 yards.
Jimmy Jordan here. Wally, I broke your passing record at Leon the very next year.
Well, Jimmy, in our 3 years together at FSU, I threw for 22 touchdown passes.
Wally, that's pretty good, but I had 39.
Well, Jimmy, look at the deal I got at AAA Transmission.
That's a pretty good deal, Wally. At least your car's a winner.
Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop in at AAA Transmission and ask for owner Tim Pridgeon, servicing Tallahassee for over 30 years. AAA Transmission, 1023 North Monroe Street, or call them at 222-2532.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Do you think, by the way, that your boy Terry Collins is going to get fired? I just read an article during the break. Again, this is as the Mets turn every day on the show these days, but it's me bringing it up. It's not Tom, so don't get mad at him. But I find that soap opera interesting, and only because there's did you see today's article by Jerry Krasnick?
Yeah, but he really doesn't draw any sweeping conclusions.
Well, I didn't read all of it. Okay. I just read a couple of paragraphs where I thought, oh, man, they're getting into, like, that there are real problems beyond the medical.
Yeah, the idea that they have a couple of trainers, medical trainers, and then surgeons, and that aren't really there that often. So their head medical people aren't always represented there, and what happens is that leaves the door open for the owner, Will Pond's son, to meddle and help decide what guys are going to do without actually having a medical background himself.
Oh, well, that's dreadful. And
yes.
So it's also not altogether stunning. We've wondered why the Mets are a calamity all the time.
No, those people are legitimately crooks. And unfortunately, they have become bedfellows with not only Bud Selig, but Rob Manfred. Because Fred Wilpon, who got hoaxed or Ponzi'd by Bernie Madoff, is the chief financial officer of Major League Baseball. I mean, how in the world does that?
Yeah,
I know there are a lot of obvious analogies one could make. But
well,
Jesus,
here's the baseball story we should be talking about, and I think baseball would greatly benefit if they just could find a way to get this guy in a better, more marketable situation. Mike Trout is killing the league, and I mean killing the league as in he can't be stopped, and he is a transcendent superstar that nobody gets to see except for Angels fans, and there's like 10 of them. So it's tough. It's so frustrating. He hit another home run, and Mike Trout now has 5 home runs in his last 6 days. I mean, this guy is insane. He's now hitting his slash line, 341, 451, 752, 13 home runs in 36 games. It's, I mean, he's going to break his own career high, it looks like, in home runs, barring an injury, which is only 41, which actually, and I'll tell you something, that makes me smile because that's a legitimate number, first of all.
Yeah, if he's doing something, he's at least smart enough to keep it low.
But, again, I think that there's a guy, because he's really good defensively and is built like a middle linebacker but runs like a sprinter and has, a legit claim to being a 5-tool player, obviously the best player in the game. The term is thrown around too often is what I'm getting at. He is legitimately that. And when you watch his highlights, which is all we get to do on the East Coast, you're always awed. You're always sitting back kind of thinking, man, that's incredible. And, I mean, he hits balls off the dirt 430 feet. I mean, you see this guy can do.
It's incredible. I'm looking at his career statistics, and it's still such a young career. And we seem to do this every year.
He's
look at his baseball
25
reference.
years old.
The last 2 years, he's opsed 991, which is incredible. But this one requires a little bit of luck because you're relying on your teammates behind you in the order. But think about this. In his age 20 season, his first full season in the big leagues, he played 139 games. He scored 129 runs. He almost scored a run a game.
Well,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
He creates a ton of runs, too, and he's a guy that gets on base and steals bases. Well, he did steal bases.
He's doing it again. Last year, he stole 30 out of 37, and then this year, he's got 8 steals already, caught only once in 37 games, so he's going to steal 25, 30 bags again for him. I mean, he does everything. He plays great defense, his range factor. It's unfortunate, yes, that he's not propped up more. Maybe the game should do more to
I don't know
prop
what
up
they
a
can
star
do,
like
Tom,
that.
because the Angels play at 11 o'clock at night on the in the East Coast anyhow, and we're all in bed and nobody's watching, and it's a shame. I go back because I have the MLB app, and you can rewatch games, and you can certainly watch a condensed version, 20-minute version of these games and the highlights from them. So I just love to watch him play because I love the game, and he's a joy to watch. But he can't. How's he going to be featured?
Well, what's fascinating to me, you and I, the two of us, watch a lot of MLB Network.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like he is a featured centerpiece on MLB Network's programming.
The way that Bryce Harper is.
Correct. They bounce around to a lot of locations, a lot of pitchers, a lot of hitters. But you know what? For what he's doing, like Bryce Harper was celebrated in an unholy way for his April and May last season. Now, reports are he either got hurt, whatever. The production went down. Trout's never been propped up in that way. And that's where, if you want to bring in East Coast, West Coast kind of bias talk, maybe that's where it exists.
That does exist, and it's absolutely one of the reasons for the problem. But the other reason is this. There's a LeBron James effect to Mike Trout, and that is LeBron James last night is absurd, right? I mean, it's embarrassing what he's doing to the Celtics in that game last night, and they have nobody that can guard him. And this series is going to go 4 games. And anyhow, when you watch him, the complete player that LeBron is, and he so easily puts up these gaudy numbers, I don't know that you fully appreciate it. I don't think we fully appreciate it. I think it'll be years after he retires that we'll go, there were nights at the highest levels of the sport in a playoff game on the road where he simply toyed with his combatants.
Forgive me for having about 50% of a grasp of this statistic, but you'll get the point. I saw the graphic on SportsCenter this morning. I believe it's 8 games in a row now that LeBron has scored 25-plus points while shooting better than 50% from the field.
It's great.
He's one away from the all-time record, either held by Abdul-Jabbar or Oscar Robertson. It's just an absurd number to think about. They're doing what they should as a team. We all know that the LeBron team, especially if it has, surrounding parts like this Cleveland team does, should coast through the East. But not only are they doing what they're supposed to do, he's doing it at an all-time level. When we think eventually the tread's coming off the tire in his career, he's finding, I don't know what, but he's finding it in spades.
They're 1 win from the longest playoff winning streak in the history of the NBA, by the way.
Well, they'll get it.
Yeah, I think so. But add that to the resume, right? One more thing. He helped engineer the longest playoff winning streak in the history of the league. But we won't fawn. I don't know. Maybe I've got it wrong. I feel like I hear much more from LeBron detractors than I do people saying he's the greatest player in the history of the game. He has now supplanted Michael Jordan. Like, if you find both to be absurd, and somebody surely does, you would take note of those two differing opinions, and you would kind of, whatever you would do, you'd categorize those and think about what you think about his career up to this point. But the point is, I hear a lot of that stuff about him not deserving to be compared to Michael Jordan. I don't hear enough people saying, yeah, he's past Michael Jordan as the greatest player of all time.
The crazy thing is, you hear more people claiming for Kawhi Leonard as the second best player in the NBA
than you do about LeBron.
That if you care about defense, then he's easily the second best player in the NBA. But you're missing the elephant in the room, which is, well, that means that LeBron, defensively, offensively, facilitator, scorer, he does it all in a way that, size and weight.
Oh, it's crazy.
Good Lord.
But I think it's to my point, though. Let's reiterate. I want to reiterate that. When you engage in the discussion of who's the second best player in the NBA, then you have just ignored LeBron James and rightfully placed him at number 1, but you are no longer saying his name and talking about him. You just put him off over here. Hey, okay, so we all know LeBron James is the best player in the NBA, so there's no need to even talk about that. Let's just put that over here and get into this other stuff here and get into the debate about who's the second best player. Is it Kawhi? Is it Steph? Who is it Harden? Whoever. Well, we know it's not Harden. But anyhow, we could go through all of that, right? But it does a disservice.
Correct.
To LeBron James.
Yeah, because it's an understood, and so it's an understood we don't give him the credit he deserves.
Right,
yes.
Right. And I think that happens to Mike Trout. We talk about all the up-and-coming young players and all the other guys that are making an impact on the game. We talk about the season Freddie Freeman's having, and unfortunately, he's hurt now, and that stinks. I'm not a Braves guy, but that stinks. He's having a great year. I would have liked to have seen what he could do. Basically, dating back to the All-Star break from last year to where we are now, he's been one of the 3 best players in all of baseball. And that's a shame that got derailed with an inside pitch. But that said, we have those discussions in baseball all the time. We don't have the one where we just talk about the greatness of Mike Trout. It's just kind of, we know Mike Trout's the best. Put him over here.
Prop him up.
It's the LeBron effect. Baseball, MLB, yes. We're imploring you. Prop this guy up. He's a legitimate superstar. Jeff Cameron, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Rainy season. Super Lube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles.
How I love to super lube my car. Yes, sir.
The North Florida Flats Fishing Expo is coming to town Saturday, May 20th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It will be held at Cornerstone Presbyterian Church, located at 3784 Sally Lane, Tallahassee, Florida. There will be kayak and fishing boat displays, a baits and rig presentation, fly tying and casting demonstrations, and presentations on dock safety. The Wilderness Way and Real Fin Attic Kayak Fishing will have a booth there. Any angler, either freshwater, saltwater, or fly, will find this expo a wealth of information. Come join Wilderness Way for this exciting day.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This Day in Sports History. May 18, 2004. Randy Johnson became the 17th player in MLB history to pitch a perfect game. At age 40, Johnson became the oldest player to accomplish the feat. The big unit would strike out 13 Atlanta Braves batters en route to his perfect game, which took place at Atlanta's Turner Field.
We lead busy lives. That's why Superlube offers quick and convenient service with no appointment necessary at any of our 19 area locations. And remember, Superlube offers a free top-off service between oil changes, checking and topping off fluids, and tire pressure. But did you know that right now when you buy one wiper blade, you get one free, just in time for Tallahassee's rainy season? Superlube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles.
How I love to super lube my car. Yes, sir.
Tallahassee Sports Center. I'm Lee Gordon. It's the final 3 regular season games for Florida State baseball tonight through Saturday down in Louisville. Tonight's game 6 o'clock, as is Friday. Well, Saturday will go at 7:30. After that, Florida State will stay in Kentucky for the ACC tournament next week. Meanwhile, Florida State softball has one more day to prepare for its regional opener. They host Princeton Friday night in Tallahassee. 7 o'clock first pitch. That game can be seen on ESPNU. Florida Gator wide receiver Antonio Callaway has been cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession. That, according to Alachua County court records. In the NBA last night, the Cavs destroyed Boston in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, 117-104. Game 2 is on Friday in Boston, while out west, the series heads back to San Antonio. The Warriors are up 2-0. And also, the Chargers and Rams have moved to Los Angeles, but that new stadium has now been delayed a year. The stadium, because of rain, will now open in the summer of 2020. Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I ordinarily say this is kind of a nothing story. Because if it happened to a Florida State player, I'd go, I don't care. I mean, I'd like him to use greater discretion, be a little smarter, try to be a bit more aware of your surroundings, whatever it might be. But the fact that it involves just a misdemeanor possession of marijuana, I would normally just kind of, well, that'll be a slap on the wrist. Maybe he'll get suspended for the first quarter of a game or something like that. If it were a Florida State player, but this is a Florida player. It's Antonio Callaway, and he's been cited for misdemeanor marijuana possession. That according to Alachua County court records. But there's a part of the story that I do find kind of odd, I guess. And I haven't further delved into this, so if you know that there's more to it than I'm saying, then okay, because this is the only part I find intriguing. Callaway, 20 years old, passenger in a black Mercedes SUV, when Gainesville police stopped the vehicle, which was driven by Kendrick Williams. The police report says the officer smelled weed in the car. They found 7 grams of weed in Callaway's pocket during a search. And the Williams guy, Kendrick Williams, was also found with weed on him. So I got it. 2 guys are in a car and they have weed. They've been smoking weed. They get pulled over. They get popped for misdemeanor amounts of weed. Okay. The dude that he's in the car with, I don't know if that's a relative, a family friend, or what, because he's 40. Why is a 20-year-old in a car with a 40-year-old man? I mean, that's just kind of weird. It's not impossible. I'm 45. I'm friends with Matthew. He's like 20.
He just turned 21, actually.
No, 21. Yeah. So there you go. But I'm saying, although we've never, I don't know that have we ever been in a car together, Matthew? We ever been driving along? We have? Like 1 or 2 times. Oh, yeah. I refuse to drive after I drink, Tom, so I was in the car with Matthew.
There it is.
That's what it was.
There it
yes,
is.
Yeah, that's right. And Matthew's a good
No doubt you guys were smoking weed the whole drive.
Well, especially Matthew.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. I try to warn him when the company's going to do the testing, but that guy.
That's why we have more, with the video, because it's more stimulating.
That's right. So the point would be that it's rare, right? That's kind of interesting to me. I don't know if that guy is a dealer, or if that guy's a family friend, or if that's just some dude. But it's odd for a 20-year-old football player to be in a car with a 40-year-old guy, I think.
And the 2 of them smoking weed.
Both of them smoking weed. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of odd.
Fair enough. I thought you were talking about 2 players driving in a Mercedes SUV, which is where my ears perked up. But, what's interesting is Florida actually didn't run and hide like they usually do for the first couple of weeks of the season. They're playing Michigan week 1.
Yeah.
So that suspension, even if it is for a quarter, could prove somewhat costly.
They haven't announced that there is a suspension.
Okay.
Imagine that.
Well, I'm sure that they would have already announced a first half suspension if they were playing some FCS opponent like they usually do.
I might note that Callaway has had run-ins off the field before, of course, and had his share of problems. By the way, he and the driver did claim ownership of the drugs. They said, these are our drugs. That's admirable. It's not my cousin's drugs. It's not my friend Jerry's drugs. But these are my drugs.
I think that rules out the driver being a relative, because the relative would be wise enough in this situation to wear it. And here's why. Because you're talking about it's not his first run-in, and in the spring it was a storyline that the Florida coaching staff and teammates were happy with Callaway's recommitment to the game. So this comes up as a yet another instance kind of deal.
Well, and again, there's nothing illegal about a 40-year-old being in the car with a 20-year-old riding down the road. It's just kind of odd, and that's why I wondered, why is he hanging out with some 40-year-old dude? Is this guy a drug dealer? Is this guy a family friend? Is this guy a friend of the team? Who is this guy? I'm curious who this guy is. We won't find out. It's not that big a deal. I don't want to make more out of it than it is. And I want to be fair here, because here's the other thing. Well, certainly it would suck for them if he gets suspended for the Michigan game. Tragic, I know. We'll all lose sleep over it. But this is a guy, in fairness to him, who you recall was accused of sexual battery last spring. This is the incident you're talking about. Now, he was reinstated to the team after an independent hearing officer found that Callaway was not responsible for sexually assaulting a female student in December. But was that the guy that was the Gator?
That was the Bull Gator.
Yeah, he wasn't the independent.
No, it wasn't like the Florida State Supreme Court justice that's presided over the Florida State Title IX hearing here in Tallahassee about 3-4 years ago.
That's correct, yes. No, he was also, by the way, the third guy to say that James didn't do anything yet.
Sure.
Yeah. But anyhow.
And the burden of proof in that particular finding was more probable than not versus beyond a reasonable doubt. but he was biased, right? Like they all were.
During a student code of conduct hearing for those allegations, Callaway had acknowledged at the time that, quote, I was so stoned I couldn't have had sex. So I like that defense, by the way.
Oh, yeah, that's legit.
He being so stoned that you can't have sex, or?
No, the claim.
Oh.
That the claim was made. No. Because sometimes you editorialize. And
boy, that is legit, Jeff. I'm telling you, I've had some issues in my time. That's how it sounded when you did that. You're like, oh, that's legit, Jeff.
A little bit of whiskey, a little bit of weed. No, because you usually editorialize. And
I do.
But that is actually legitimately
I'm reading
his
from the
defense
story.
claim.
That is the quote.
Sometimes, it sounds like you're reading from the story, but you're really not. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'll throw things in there, but usually that is fairly obvious. I'm not going to throw in I was too stoned to have sex ad-lib in the middle of this story.
Give me a single malt and a doobie.
My favorite part is you going, oh, that's legit, Jeff. People drive down the road like, damn, Tom, you're pretty forthcoming today.
Well,
I'll tell you, Cameron. Now, I can empathize with him there. That's a toughie.
Summer 08, buddy. I learned my lesson.
McElwain said this about Callaway's marijuana usage at the time. He said,
quote, I did not hump the shark.
He said, if this becomes habitual, we'll have a problem. Habitual line stepping. That he didn't say. If there are some issues, we'll find him help. If it becomes habitual, then there are some consequences. If it becomes one of those deals through the counseling where it hasn't worked and that kind of stuff, then there'll be some harder consequences. And yet those haven't come up yet. So would this qualify as having come up again? I think it did. So I'd like to hear McElwain wax poetic as he did in that statement. If it becomes one of those deals through the counseling, what is that, Jim? One of those deals with the counseling and all, If it's habitual, then we'll get him help. But if it becomes one of those deals with the counseling.
He's one of those tall guys, medium, short height.
I love that. Oh, that's a fun story. That's legit, Jeff. You said it with conviction.
Sorry. Yeah, out of context, I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
You will.
Or watch it,
It's
I guess.
completely innocent, but it's thrown me off because it's making me laugh. Think about it in your head for a second. Let's recreate this. I read this statement. At the time of the hearing for the allegations, Callaway acknowledged that he, quote, was so stoned he couldn't possibly have sex. That's legit, Jeff. Oh, all right. Yeah. It's like
I've heard some fish stories in my life, but I got to tell you, I got his back on this one.
Jeff, last week, this guy, he is telling the truth, man. Boy, was I disappointed.
There was a holiday for us people last month in April, It's around the third week of April. And let me tell you, I learned my lesson, buddy.
That's legit. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
3-player while supplies last. Enjoy a worry-free purchase with a 3-day buyback program and get Hyundai Assurance with America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and 2 years free maintenance. Why shop anywhere else? Werner has the best customer service, test drives, pricing, and warranty. Werner Hyundai, 252 Capitol Circle Southwest, or check them out online at wernerhyundai.com. Must approve finance through Hyundai Motor Finance with approved credit. See dealer for details. Sonata stock number GH329871. Santa Fe stock number HG492731.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
If you haven't stopped into Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney.
Hey, it's me, Marissa.
Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the Fourth Quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the Fourth Quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the Fourth Quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the Fourth Quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Shortly, we shall see little Louisville, Florida State action. Don't forget, that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm strangely invested. I just can't shake it. I've ripped that team all year long. They've earned that ripping, and here I am getting ready to sign off and race to go watch that damn game.
Do you think it's because there's nothing else on television?
No,
You're legitimately invested.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pumped about it. It's ridiculous. It doesn't make much sense. I know. But I think it's maybe that they're ranked number 2 in the country and that they've played so well at home. I'm very, very curious to see if we go play footloose and fancy free, or do we play as if we're still domed up with something to lose and worried.
I think there's no doubt that the ceiling for this team is really high.
Yeah.
As in it can beat just about anybody in the country, and that this puts that to the test. That's got to be part of the intrigue, I would think.
Sure. I think it's that. Because what if they go and win that series? Now what have you done? Now you're dangling the damn carrot. We got to go in here and pretend like we got a legitimate shot to do something despite oodles of evidence that says we don't.
But you're rooting for the dangle.
You're damn right. I mean, we're Knowles. Yeah, I'd like to see them win, not lose. That's always the case. But I'm making fun of myself in a weird way because I'm doing what I see other fans do of other teams. Like Miami fans believe every year they're going to beat Florida State. Of course, they never do, but they're sure this is going to be the year. They know damn well they're not winning this year. In their heart of hearts, they know they're not doing it this year, but they'll lie to themselves, and they'll have that conversation, and they'll say, if this happens, then this happens. We could win. Yeah, you could, but you're not going to win, Miami. You're going to come up here and lose again.
Man, that's a few close calls in a row.
It's a toughie. Get ready. The streak's alive and well. It's going to continue. We are moving.
You know what? I'll even be honest for a moment. I thought you might have had us in 2014, Miami fan. I thought so. The way that first half went.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Buddy.
But you didn't.
But I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Willing to admit that.
No. And now it's just beautiful because you know, just as we know in our heart of hearts, you're not beating us. You're going to lie to yourself and convince when you're amongst like-minded folk that it's possible, but in your heart of hearts, you know too, and that's the best part about the lie. And that's what I'm doing, frankly, with Florida State. I know they're not very good. I know that through 50-plus games, they've proven they're not very good. When they play anybody who's any good, they lose, always. And yet here I sit going, well, what if they win this series against Louisville? It's absurd. It's ridiculous.
It is a little bit ridiculous, but, then you wouldn't be a fan if you didn't have this type of hope going into a big series.
But we both appreciate, I think, the kind of honesty and candor and willingness to admit when your team has weaknesses or flaws. We're pragmatic. We're realists, I like to believe. We're fans, too, but we're realists. Look, when you and I talk about the Bucks, neither one of us ever say something crazy like, I think they're going to go 13-3 this year. I mean, no. I mean, you know better, right?
I thought 8-8 this year would be really an incredible improvement given the way the schedule was laid out.
Right.
Then they went 9-7.
They went 9-7, exceeded all expectations, and gave us more reason for hope moving forward. But we both were of the mindset that 8-8 was about the ceiling, barring something that really developed that we hadn't seen from a certain player or two, that it just wasn't going to happen.
Oh, and I think it's, even though the record is improved by 3 games, I think that's a team that's 5 games better, if that makes sense, because that 6-10 was against an incredibly weak schedule,
right,
whereas this year's 9-7, whew, that was a tough-ass schedule, and they handled it.
They did, and beating teams like Seattle and beating teams that you didn't expect to be able to put the W next to when we did W's and L's with the Bucks is especially gratifying.
Okay, let me ask you this. More likely, Florida State in football would beat Miami with Bailey Hockman this year at quarterback, or Florida State baseball takes 2 of 3 this weekend against Louisville. Notice I didn't use Cosentino. I went straight to Bailey Hockman.
To Bailey Hockman. Yeah, Miami would have a better chance. I don't think we can roll out there with Bailey Hockman.
Well, I mean, they're rolling out there with a new guy.
Yeah, they have no chance. Miami has no chance. Now, they've got to be relieved. I shouldn't say they have no chance. That's ridiculous. That's me being a homer. That's over the top. They're going to lose to Florida State, and I've been right on that prediction for 8 years in a row. But I will say that
so you're calling this year already?
Oh, it's already in the books. This one especially. I mean, this
does feel that way.
This feels like they're going to get.
We felt vulnerable quietly the last 2 seasons,
but not this time,
and rightfully so.
I don't feel any vulnerability whatsoever.
14 was a bit of a joke, but we got through it.
I'm further emboldened in my stance on this streak staying alive this year every day. I Miami.
So the Florida State baseball team has a better chance of taking 2 of 3 than the football team would with Bailey Hockman at quarterback against Miami?
Probably, yeah. I haven't seen the new kid play yet, so I don't know. Maybe he's dreadful. So maybe, I don't know. That's a hard one yet. But I don't think you want to roll out there with a freshman in game 3, a true freshman.
I'm just saying they got a new guy. We got a new guy. I think we're better everywhere else.
They're better at linebacker.
Well, I mean, are they going to have clear rushing lanes?
I'm just saying.
Are they?
I'm just saying they're better at linebacker, I think. It's an interesting conversation. Would we win against Miami with Bailey Hockman at home? On the road, no. We could win with Bailey Hockman here. Yeah. It's a tough call. You're right. That's a good one. That's a good hypothetical. Who has the better chance of winning the series or the games that matter in this case? Miami over Florida State or us over Louisville? Probably us over Louisville. Yeah, Miami can't come in here and win no matter the circumstances. They're going to lose.
All right.
Yeah, Bailey Hockman's getting a win that day, sir. Yeah.
You want me to put it on the Facebook tonight, see what we can talk about it tomorrow?
Sure.
It's a good hypothetical. I'm sorry I suggested it at 5:50.
I like it. Let's do some probables.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
I think it should be known that I've done the entire show today. I just discovered this almost 3 hours into the program with a piece of broccoli in my teeth. But I got it just now.
Well, it wasn't the front. We would have told you.
Yeah, you would have been. I don't think the camera can pick it up anyhow. I'm finishing it up. That's about a 7-hour-old piece of broccoli.
How is it?
It's all right.
All right.
It's kind of embarrassing that it just sat there for the last, since noon today. I think I had that broccoli at 11:50. Goodness gracious. Rockies, Twins, Tyler Chatwood, Jose Berrios. Phillies let me down last night, bums. taking on the Rangers. That's what's going on already. I didn't even see that final. It was a day game. My bad. Lots of day games today. Blue Jays Braves, Marcus Stroman, Julio Teheran. Yanks Royals, Jordan Montgomery. Guy's name is Jordan Montgomery. Hi, I'm Jordan Montgomery. I grew up filthy rich and white.
He's an attorney.
Danny Duffy. Jordan, Danny, Jordan. Goes for the Royals. Red Sox, A's, Hector Velasquez. No doubt he's Japanese, right? Sonny Gray goes for the A's. White Sox, Mariners.
If he is, he's from North Tokyo.
Dylan Covey. Sam Gaviglio. Got called up from AAA. Gaviglio.
Do you think there's an America town within major cities across the globe? Like there's America town, like there's a Little
like
Italy,
Chinatown. I went to, I like Chinatown. You've been to Chinatown?
Yeah. Not at night, though. A little shaky.
Went to Chinatown in San Francisco. It's cool.
Went to the one on the way to Little Italy for dinner back in 2005. And I don't know, maybe it's improved since then.
A little shaky when you were there?
I got off at the wrong subway stop, yeah. A group of 20 of us, 3 guys, and we were in high school. That's great. And they were from Lily White, Clearwater Central Catholic, and they dressed like they were from Lily White, Clearwater. Think about that.
Rob
That's
me!
It's like when Semi and Akeem show up in Coming to America with all the luggage.
Right. Well, I did get robbed in New York City when I was 16 years old. At knife point. That was fun. I must have screamed, "Rob me," too. Because there I walked, staring at all the tall buildings. Oh, these tall buildings. This is amazing.
Straight ahead or down?
Staring up at the tall buildings, Tom, and then pulling out money to give to a hot dog vendor. So why not just scream to the world, the cash is in my right pocket, and I can't believe I'm in New York City.
You had the wad to pay for
yeah.
So
I pulled out.
You had to go through all the 20s and 50s.
I had $100 on me. I can remember specifically how much I had. I had $100 on me. I pulled out the $100.
Well, in the 70s, that was a lot of money.
1986. Good year.
Yeah.
Town was a buzz.
Time was a buzz.
Yeah.
I guess my mom was walking around the city with me in the belly.
Yep. Marlins, Dodgers, Edison Volquez, and Ryu goes for the Dodgers. Hyun Rin Ryu. I think I said it right. I was trying to show some respect there.
Must
Ryu.
be Venezuelan.
Yeah, no doubt. Could be Mexican. We'll have to call the Ryu family. And that's a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Maybe a diamond ring. Well, it's all right, even if they say you're wrong.
Good work out of you, sir. It's time for us to say goodnight. Have a baseball game to watch that I'm invested in. We shall see. Good work, Matthew. Good work, Tom. To those that called and or listened, surely do appreciate it. You guys, be well. Be nice to each other. Appreciate the day. Talk to you tomorrow.